It's a variable impulse drive. What it does, it's when we're sending electric down to a motor, it makes it ramp up at a slower pace instead of a hard hit for it to jolt, to kick on and cause a hammer.
At a medium
So,
pace.
Did that. We get told by the pump people, why are you having that? You don't need that. That's if you're pumping directly into the system. He goes, so you don't have to worry about that causing hammers, you don't need that. But since you're pumping into your tanks, he goes, get rid of that VFD. We just put that new well in 3 years ago. New casing, new pump, new motor, everything. It burnt every bit of that wire up and the motor.
The
The
VFD.
VFD did.
So,
We had to have an emergency crew come out and pull the well.
well, let's see
So,
here. Where's...
Was it like not pulling, was it causing it to underdraw, which caused it?
Because
or-
it wouldn't turn on at all.
No, I'm talking about burn the wire up and everything. What caused it to burn the wire up?
Don't know.
Maybe it screwed up and overdrew, caused it to overdraw.
We had guys coming up there, I don't know who they were, coming up, taking sections of wire to take it back to the
Alright.
tanks to analyze.
Because I was a pull and spire repairman for 5 years.
Here we
I
go.
used to rebuild all that.
You don't want anybody to hear anything, don't say anything
Had
now.
to do that. Them fucking all lives matter people! I mean, hey, let's get the Black Lives Matter people and the All Lives Matter people together and just watch them fight it out.
Aren't they already doing that?
No,
No.
they're just yelling at each other over the internet. I mean, let's literally put them together.
I don't,
I can't wait till my side gets to go out and protest.
I don't.
That was
They
their
did
side.
that, they did that already. That was the American Revolution.
Can't wait to do it again. That's what it's not, all those people that are anti-gun celebrating the 4th of July, makes no sense. You're celebrating a holiday about what armed citizens do to make them free.
How many people are actually anti-gun?
There's a lot.
Actually, yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot
lot.
less than what the media makes you believe.
Yes, in Missouri.
That's all I can
no
say about
in
that.
Other states.
Because if there was more people than what you, as you're saying, they would elect people that were also anti-gun.
No, people
But
are
they
stupid.
don't.
No, people are stupid. Gotta remember, rule 1, people are stupid. They just want to bitch about shit. They don't want to really do anything about it.
So
That is actually
what
wrong.
are the protests then?
They're just bitching. They're not doing anything about it.
Protesting will actually move legislators in a direction.
It's not moving them now.
It isn't, but,
Well,
but slowly.
I've heard some movement going on,
Well, I heard a bunch of movement going on, so
But-
they call it bullshit.
but it's the
Those
votes
are.
that will determine if it worked or not. I mean, it is guaranteed in the Constitution the right to peacefully protest. It's not in the Constitution to be a criminal.
Peacefully
Yeah.
protest.
Well, you
Yes.
got to be able to use your brain and separate a protester from a criminal. They're not the same
it's just
thing.
that,
But
yes,
the
there
media
were
wants you to
differences.
believe they're the same thing because they cherry pick
Well, they're not.
the criminals because that's what's interesting. Nobody gives a shit about peaceful protesters because they're peaceful. It's like your kid in school, yeah, he's a great student, who gives a fuck? But show me the kid that fights all the time because that's interesting.
Or the
That's
kid
all
who
it is.
freaking throws.
I'm not really interested in you having a normal day at work, Randy. I hope you do, but if you come, yeah, it was a normal day. Who gives a fuck? But if you say, well, my well fucking shot out and killed my guy, I'd be like, holy shit, tell me all about it. That's all it is.
We start doing shut-offs again.
So,
Oh, yeah?
anyway,
Yeah.
I understand. It's like, hey, why couldn't you come? I just got shit to do. Why couldn't you come? Well, my
What do you
mom
mean
fell,
I
broke her arm. Oh, fuck, let's hear about that.
yeah.
Was there
Anyway.
blood?
But
Let me guess. What do you mean we're doing stuff again? I thought I was free to not pay for the past 5 months.
Are you kidding me? One of the people were actually irrigating the lawn when I did it.
well, they're a criminal, or at least a I'm assuming it's criminal. I don't know. Is it criminal for non-payment of a water bill, or do you just shut them off and then you don't? You go try to go back at them for back bills?
Well, we'll put a lien on her.
Okay, so it's not necessarily a criminal matter, but it is
It's just against the
a financial matter.
Yes.
So, but yeah, anyway, we're not here to talk about politics unless they're fake.
I'm fucking leaving then.
Unless they're fake, like what I show here. What we're here to talk about is fake stories about fake people and fake monsters. Oh, now the characters are real. They're like Santa Claus. They're real.
So,
That's not fake.
Easter Bunny.
so are we
fuck
still
yeah.
7 level 7 or
You're 14 total, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
14.
And so are they. Well, unfortunately, the elves, they topped out. So that's what you get for being a demi-human. You have level limits. So at least in this edition. Now, those of you that may be watching on Facebook, oh, there's Jason Bridges. Hi, Jason.
That's kind of where my
Jason Bridges.
sketchy are.
You remember him? You might. He played Gaspar and Mud. I did an interview with him on the channel.
He's the one that moved to Florida
Yes.
for a while?
No, he's still there.
Oh, he's still there? Oh, yeah, I know him. Tall, skinny dude? Or was it tall, skinny dude?
He's average size.
Good idea.
He's a little thin,
Yeah.
I
but
thought he was
Just an
taller.
idea.
whatever his metabolism says he should be. At
That's
least he doesn't have diabetes. I
He
think.
used to play with Daryl
Right.
when Daryl
I-
originally played with
maybe.
him.
I've already done this.
I'm sure we all kind of
But
interacted.
I'm just trying to make sure. Did he date an English chick
I'll
for a
double
short
check. I'll
period of
double check.
time?
Jason dated a lot of people. I don't know though.
I know there was this English girl that stayed with my aunt that I thought
Oh
he
yeah.
took her virginity.
I
or
think
something
it was
like that.
Jason. I don't.
I thought that was
That
him.
was a long time ago. Don't quote me
Yes,
on
I
that.
understand.
I don't-
That's why I'm trying to picture, get things
I don't
right in my
remember.
head.
But if I was to guess, I would say yes. Other than that, I don't know because I wasn't involved. So, but anyway. So what we
I
have
thought you
here
sent pictures to everybody.
is that no, I didn't get any. Episode 55 or 56 or 57 somewhere.
I was pretty sure he said he put it right on your little special towel.
Brian Brown's on. So Daryl, you can hear us okay, I guess.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You sound great. So let's do a quick introduction. And normally I do it, but I'll let the players do it this time. And we'll start on my left here. Who are you and what are you playing and what class are they? And anything else you might want to say.
Well, I'm Chris. I'm playing a character named Ein. He is a human psionicist. Basically, for those of you that don't know it, is he uses the power of his mind to alter things and do stuff. And he is one evil son of a bitch all of a sudden.
Did you get the ring?
Huh?
Did you get the ring?
No.
Or the
No.
ring.
Okay.
I just
Next.
killed somebody.
Next.
Okay. My name is Waldor. I'm a economy.
Dorf.
I'm a thief cleric. You're a dork. What? And I try to skirt the balance between good and evil and maintain a balance. I am a cleric who basically pulls my powers from both sides of the spectrum. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to keep the balance, but that's what I try.
All right. You in the middle. Master
Kel?
Dewman. Who are you and what are you playing?
Hey, I'm Daryl, and I'm playing the Elven Monk, Master Kelp. I'm on a mission to retrieve a Elven relic that has been misused and mishandled by the evil, depending on your perspective, forsooth.
No, he's definitely evil. I mean, you can be friends with him. That doesn't make him not evil.
And then to my right we have
Randy. My character is Garrett, a human fighter. My claim to fame is I am the leader of the Savage Six, and I have a spear that is smarter than me.
nice.
You have a bloodthirsty spirit.
Yeah, it likes blood. It talks
possesses
to me a
you.
lot.
No, he is you.
And is it turning me evil? I don't know. It's
Turning
already-
you evil? No, he just makes you do evil things constantly.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we take the spear away, everything will be okay.
But sometimes doing the bad thing is a good thing.
We also have someone who's not here yet. She said she would be joining after dinner. I'll let her introduce herself. And then I am your Dungeon Master, Skell DM Cobb 37. And I like to cause my players to cringe and regret every bad decision they've ever made.
No, it's just not bad decisions. It's every decision we ever made.
Even the good ones we regret at this point.
These characters, for the most part, have been on a journey through time and space. Though it has never been said exactly what time and exactly what space, there have been names thrown about, but if they were to be shown a map of where they've been on their journey, they may or may not be able to pick that out. But they agreed to go after ancient artifacts to defeat a dragon that attacked their town.
I never agreed to that. I was forced into that.
You came a little bit later. You were in the first place that they went to. And
I was tricked, I tell you. Actually, I was forced. It was either die to my brother or go with these.
And the first place they went to, it was a desert with an oasis kingdom where most or all civilization was.
It was an oasis. Come on. At night, monsters came up out of the water and tried to kill everybody.
It was a huge lake, surrounded by a vast expanse of desert, as far as the eye could see and as far as anyone knew.
And my brother was the douche of it all.
In that particular place, they retrieved Skin Piercer, a magical spear, an intelligent weapon.
No,
After leaving there,
that wasn't Skin Piercer. That was Angelote.
No.
Wasn't it?
It was Skin Piercer.
Oh, I thought I was told the ring was there.
in this,
No.
you were told
You
that,
were told,
Okay.
but it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
or you didn't find it.
No. I thought that's where we found it.
No.
You certainly saw it. The second place they went to was the same place, but showed signs of age, where the level of the water was different, the vegetation was different. There was still the desert, but the kingdom looked a little different. And in this particular place, they retrieved Angeloche, a ring that Volmir wears, a ring that allows her to transform into a dragon lady.
Can I interject something?
Sure, go ahead.
We have never gone anywhere but the same place.
As far as we know.
No, because the mound is always there. The mound is always there. It's always
That
the
would
same place.
that would certainly be not a that would certainly be a reasonable conclusion based on the information the Dungeon Master has presented. So I can't say much to that other than that's what you think.
Yeah, when it's all over, he says he'll mind fuck us with what really should have happened. So.
I did not say that. All right, so
Really? You sent the cartoon that literally showed you fucking a skull.
I don't remember
What?
that. So, but that's okay. There's a lot of things I don't remember.
All right, 4chan. Get out of here, 4chan.
After leaving that place, they went to a place that looked really different. Lush forests and a nice place to stay in the middle of a storm. Unfortunately, this place, in this land, as they came to find out, the undead had the same rights to exist as the living. And the society was set up, a symbiotic relationship between the Gonomies, of which Waldor is a member of that species, and this huge Gonomie city. Think cyberpunk with zombie engines that did all of the manual
Mean zombie
labor.
slaves?
Or zombie slaves, sure, whatever. But they seem to be happy with doing their job.
And we were provoked without any regards. We were minding our business and got provoked, and they attacked us.
Yeah, we were just
Now
trying.
that the Dungeon Master can tell you is totally wrong.
No,
It is not-
no, that's bullshit.
They
We went
attacked
in-
first
no, we
and
went
asked
in-
questions later.
We went inside seeking shelter in an abandoned house, and then
Well, that's your first problem. You're not correct. It wasn't abandoned.
I went upstairs and I released an undead head from its
Got attacked by a
imprisonment.
rug.
You got
Was it-
attacked by a rug.
Oh no,
first.
you guys got attacked. I wasn't there for that. I can't. I had
got
no part in
attacked
that.
by a rug.
We's innocent. I
We's
swear.
innocent.
Sabrina will be coming online later. She has to play online
Sabrina?
because Sabrina's in the chat or in the comments.
So
Sabrina?
so I went.
I said
I went
Sabrina,
and
yeah.
released a
Yeah,
head
Sabrina.
Oh, I didn't know
that
she
was
back.
trapped in a
She's not coming
freaking
back. She
closet.
just
or
was
that was
off tonight.
after-
an
And I said,
armoire.
Hop in the
And the
comments
head
and say
attacked
something.
us.
Chelsea
and
might
then
watch for all I know.
Another one tried
Normally
to
she's at
possess
work.
another one of us. So we defended ourselves fair and square.
So the Dungeon Master will say, as you can see by this little diatribe you just heard, the situation is nuanced. And the policy violations that I described certainly were not picked up upon until it was too late. So there were consequences.
Wait, nuances. There was nothing. There was nothing there to tell us there was a society.
There was.
It was literally an abandoned house.
And like every criminal, of course they didn't do it. That's prison
Oh,
full of all kinds of people that didn't do it.
I totally set that house on
Like
fire.
that one.
I totally
That was
burnt
a
that
good
house to the fucking ground and
Remember,
robbed it for
You
everything
get
it was worth.
convicted for killing him, and it turns out he's alive. You can shoot him in the middle of Times Square. Double jeopardy. Movie.
This was also the first appearance of the entity known as the Protector. And the Protector
First living experience.
has
Ouch.
first,
Ouch is right.
first moving, yes, I guess you're right. You guys did encounter him in the first scene. of the
But
movie,
it was a statue.
but it was
did not
just,
move.
it didn't move. So whether it was a sentient being or not, there was no clue. So,
I'm pretty sure the second one wasn't sentient either.
so that start of that particular chapter of the story led to all kinds of hijinks, and also the group ended up not finding what they wanted to find or what they came here to find for a while. So about 8 months went by, and in that time,
10.
the characters got used to their surroundings. Some of them did better than others.
Some of them were trapped. And
Some of them got pregnant. Someone could say that was a trap. Who knows? It all depends on your point of view. Like I said, it's a nuanced game.
I knocked no one up.
Yeah, we were too busy hunting a vampire.
Speaking of which, just wait till you find out what happened last week.
Yeah, just wait. It's fucking great. I can't wait to tell.
So,
I thought you said nothing happened last week.
well, there's always
We were
something.
lying.
Liars.
So,
Because nothing happened.
this
as in nothing happened
particular
to the
area ended with
Oh, so crazy
the
shit.
group
Really fucking crazy.
encountering forsooth in his lair a gigantic, mega-sized, invisible, floating structure above the entire city, an area that he could watch over the world.
We only had that back then.
And they escaped after trading an artifact of the elves for another weapon, and then they moved on to the next. So, apparently, as has been explained in some of the previous episodes, this new place is somewhere after that. Some amount of time has gone by. That's the amount of time that's been bandied about was 1,000 or 2,000, somehow, some long amount of time. And in that time, the vampire king who they knew back in the town of Franciscanian, they met him as Vortigons, has become more powerful. And he has taken up the name Strahd. And the thing that they seek apparently is in Strahd's possession. They found a way to get to Strahd safely, which is in and of itself a complicated thing I will not get into here. And upon encountering Strahd, or coming to Barovia, those of you that are familiar with the classic Ravenloft module from 1st edition D&D, it's pretty much right out of there, with some changes, of course, to fit in this particular story. And they agreed to Strahd's conditions in exchange for that last weapon. Oh, the weapon that they traded for in the previous one with Forsooth is called Heart Needle. And it's a bow that can heal or harm depending on how the wielder uses it. So they had gone and met Strahd, went back to town, spent the night in the temple, and then the next day they went back as Strahd requested, and after some trouble getting there and encountering Madame Eva again, this time inside the mists of Barovia, they were looking for Strahd, and they started exploring the castle. It appeared as though the castle was open and undefended. The drawbridge was down, the portcullis was up. No bats came out and got in their hair this time. So they spent some time exploring the castle. They saw Strahd playing a musical organ, and he invited them to eat. And then he disappeared, and it seemed like they were like trapped, but they ended up with little difficulty leaving the trapped area.
Not before fighting what Waldor determined was a wraith, correct?
I think so.
I believe it was a wraith.
So,
We fought
so they decided to go back to the
I didn't control it.
main
I
hall.
wasn't able to control
Well, you weren't here, man. What do you want?
it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it.
He doesn't know everything that you can do.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
We killed it. That was
Um,
also Jen in 2 hits.
Oh, 2 hits.
Well, and 2 hits. Everybody else.
They went back to where they first encountered Strahd in his audience hall, and Strahd wasn't there, but they investigated his throne. The throne was facing backwards, as you might be able to see here on the table. So we're getting close to the end of the last session. And they checked out the throne, and then Master Kelf used his manna from heaven to learn something about the throne, and learned that it was actually something that came from Forsooth's lair when it crashed, and the vampire recovered it and put it upon the great steps that the White Sisterhood had used as part of their lair, and learned secrets and gained power. And at that point, Basula was starting to get nervous. This is where he had been tortured for a long time. And then Strahd walked in and basically asked them to get prepared. Did they learn anything that could be useful? Because they were going to see the Zombie Lord. Go ahead.
After Waldor disarmed a trap that was around the throne, Ein decided that he would go sit down when Strahd entered. And so he did. Immediately following that,
You turned evil.
he after finding out nothing, stood up and failed something, and Strahd took
not really took control, but made suggestions, and I followed them to the letter. Including resetting the trap by turning the throne back around, going over to Strahd, kneeling in front of him, and proceeding to stab himself in the gut
Nice.
with a sword.
And as fun as that was,
It was not as fun as what came
and
next.
those of you that have read the module might be able to guess when Strahd was able to use his powers on Ein. Strahd told Basula that he would be carrying his coffin. And Basula started to become unhinged and said he would not do it. And then he said he would rather die than do it. And then he said he would rather die than do it. And the characters Ein, Volmir, and Garrett decided that, well, if that's what you want, I guess that's what you get.
Ein and Garrett started after he pleaded to Volmir to kill him. And when Volmir hesitated, he went over to Garrett. Garrett hesitated. He came over to Ein. Ein immediately was all for it. He wanted to die. I was going to fulfill his wish. It's a dying man's wish. Of course you're going to fulfill it. And upon which Garrett came over, and Ein and Garrett, for a little bit, fucked up Basula. Waldor and Brother Kelp were back the fuck off.
Some people were shocked.
Some people were shocked.
As you can see by the map, Waldor went, what the fuck? And he started backing
Both
down
of you went.
one of the
You
steps.
two
Kelp,
went.
on the other hand, came in this corner and was like, again.
So you were going to kill Basula?
We did.
We killed him.
Oh, you.
And after me and Garrett were hounded on him for a little bit, Volmir came over and joined, and us three circled up and killed Basula. And just stabbed him.
And
to
the
death.
truth came out.
And the truth came out.
What was the truth?
The DM is the real father.
Ugh, I don't remember. I don't think that's true, but oh well.
So,
You'll have
so
that.
who else backed away? Just
You and
Kelp?
Brother Kelp.
So where's Kelp at?
And the opposite corner.
Right there.
Oh,
And Volmir went all dragon mode.
Yeah, and to kill Basula when she went on dragon mode.
Pretty great, huh? Pretty great.
So there was this dragon lady
Pretty great.
gnawing and eating on fresh Basula.
So anyway,
I regret killing him.
I
It was a
don't.
lot. I did because it was a lot to get through.
Yeah.
It is a lot of savoring, time savored, destroying him, but it was a lot to get
If
through.
we could have got rid of him right after the dragon hit, it would have made things easier.
so Basula is on the
wait,
ground,
hold on.
dead.
So,
See, I got these little
Blood slats.
shimkas.
Nice.
All right.
So Count Strahd.
All right. So anyway,
Oh.
I guess that's where we'll pick up right after.
The very last words that were uttered for the session were from the DM playing as Count Strahd, saying, "Well done, my Osman." And then it ended.
Oh, actually, and then I said, Bone. Well, you don't. I guess you don't even know that because she's the only one that saw that. That's cool.
Yeah, I appreciate
All right. Let's
Wait, I have a question, Cobb.
wait. Don't tell me.
Was Strahd
There's
facing
more.
me when he told Volmir that statement that you said none of us would know about?
No, Strahd didn't say anything. It was something Volmir
Oh.
recognized about the scene there that reminded her of something from the past.
Okay. Okay.
This is episode 56.
Kirsty remembers,
Just
but,
for the record. Okay.
but Ein does not.
So I kneel where I'm at and I go, Great Lord.
Wait, hold on.
Count
So
Strahd.
before we begin, is there anything else anyone would like to say about the old business? And before we begin the new business?
There's a good chance that I will not be here next week and not be able to call in. I'm doing military stuff.
Okay.
They understand.
Hey,
I'll see if I
you
can,
wouldn't
but I'm not
believe
sure.
how many military guys gang.
No, I'm
That's
not
how
saying
I
that they
started.
don't. I'm saying that I'll be at my.
No, he was saying they'll understand. You're like,
No, I'm well aware. I talked to these older gentlemen that literally that they were in Vietnam and that's all they did on their downtime was play D&D.
Did you say Vietnam?
Yeah, and the war.
D&D was invented in 74.
Vietnam went until 79, didn't it?
Nope. 72.
I mean, now if you were to say the Desert Storm, I know that's what
Maybe
happened
Desert
over there,
Storm.
and that was in like 90 or 91 or wasn't it, or 92, something like
I
that.
forget.
Anyway,
when was the first edition of D&D
Published was in 74, he just said.
January 1974. Here's a summary.
all right. So anyway, all right. So we will now commence episode 56. So you all have this scene as Strahd is just watching you all. Is there anything anyone would like to do at this time? Okay, so Waldor, you're up.
So I kneel down, I go, Great Lord Count Strahd, would it be allowable for me to call forth the body of that...
Is that music too loud, Daryl?
No.
Okay.
Call forth the body of that thing to be used in my service for the fight that's to come.
No. Says Master Kevin from the corner as he approaches.
Where are you going? Just up to the corpse?
Yes.
I'm sorry, say again?
Yes, toward the corpse.
Okay, so you're right there then. So far that we got these four
That's
people
fine.
all around the corpse. Waldor's over there. Can you see that, Daryl?
I can just see a basic layout. I can't see
Okay.
details,
Okay.
but yeah. Well,
Is it
if I have questions, I'll ask.
okay? Is it in focus even?
No. The whole thing's kind of fuzzy.
Like I'm fuzzy?
Yeah, I mean, out of focus. I can see everybody, and I can see the figures on the table, but nothing's really in a crisp focus.
Let me, because that was something I was trying to do before we started was focus up a little bit. So let me see if I can get that a little adjusted.
Does it have a focus
You
on
tell
it?
me if it's better or worse, okay?
Okay.
So let's go this way. Finger. How about now? Any different?
Chris looks a little more, I can see his details a little more clearly.
Okay, well let's go a little bit past this.
A little better.
How about now? Same?
Yeah, I mean, well, no, but now the figures are very fuzzy. I can see them on the table still, but they just look like blobs, where before they looked.
Let's go
More
back to
fun.
here then. Let's go back to there. So it might be as good as it can get from being so far away, but
Distance is a big player.
I agree.
okay.
Not an issue, really.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn the music down just here. And then you guys were having a conversation, I think, so go ahead.
No! And he walks to the corpse.
Right. So anybody else? Anything?
Waldor, if you bring him up, I will put him down.
It's no longer him. It's just
I don't care. If you bring him up, I will put him back down.
He asked for it, he got it.
I'm not talking about resurrecting him.
You're
I'm
talking about bringing
using
the
his
corpse
body.
back to life and using it. If you bring it back up, I will put it back down.
Strahd says, hold on. Who does that belong to?
Good point. To the dragon, aka her.
Strahd says, are you sure?
I point to him.
Who's him?
Strahd.
Waldor, I don't think you should make this creature rise and do your bidding. He's been tortured long enough.
Strahd says,
That part has been gone.
I would like the Ein and Waldor and Master Kelf to all roll charisma checks, please.
Come on, 20. That's not
And we'll start with Ein.
22.
We'll go to Waldor.
Start with 27.
27. Ooh, you must have had a good roll. Okay.
13.
And Kelf.
19.
Okay.
Wait, 19 total or 19 on the dice?
Yes, total.
Very good. So Strahd looks over at Garrett and says, aren't you the leader of these people?
Yes.
And he kind of folds his arms and turns and looks you straight in the eye and he says, and you have nothing, they just do whatever they want, huh?
Anything's up for discussion. I do the final say.
Okay. He looks at Volmir. And by about this time, Volmir, your duration on your dragonborn form will start to revert. Because I don't remember off the top of my head how long. Do you remember? Do you have it written down how long you can stay transformed? If I had to guess, I would say you can stay transformed the however like levels you are is how many rounds. That's a guess. What does it say though?
Yeah, rusty piece on that. Sorry, Sean didn't like it anymore.
So I can stay in the Dragonborn form for up to my level
Okay.
in rounds.
How about that? Okay, so it took felt like 6 or 7 rounds at least to polish your baby daddy off. So you know that the end of your time is coming, just so you're aware. You can transform back early or you can let it go naturally, whatever you want to do. So, he looks at you and he says, White Witch, can you understand me?
Yes.
And you hear her go, "Rah." I forgot, can you speak in dragon form or are you?
It's only comes out as the rar.
Okay. So he says, would you be so kind as to rejoin us?
I do.
And I don't know if you're down any hit points, but you would heal the amount stated. He says, Waldor would like to turn Basula, I am assuming, into some form of mindless undead. Is that true, Waldor?
I guess you could put it that way. Isn't his soul gone? So it's really just a husk.
Hence the mindless. He says, Ein, however, thinks that is a bad idea. And Master Kelf
Will we agree on some?
Master Kelf, as his statement there confirms, believes that the dead should rest in peace. And your fearless leader here, Garrett, thinks that he'll chime in whenever everyone else has had their peace. So I'm just curious, what would you like to do with that?
Can I say something first?
Don't interrupt. What would you like to do with that? And he says, and walk up here. I don't want to raise my voice.
I'll walk over.
I do. Honestly, I want him to be here and be alive. But
Strahd also laughs. He's like, you shouldn't lie so quickly. It makes you look foolish, my dear. What do you wish to
I'm going
do?
to kneel.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Kel.
I'm going to approach the body and kneel down at it and start like trying to bring his jacket together and straighten him up. And I say his spirit needs to be prepared to leave this unholy place.
So meanwhile, Volmir, you were saying?
I was saying, but Kelf and everybody else is right. He needs to stay dead. He won't really be here if he gets brought back. It'll just be a mindless puppet.
I wasn't saying that. I was saying I was just gonna put it down again.
I'm not trying to bring him back. He's dead. I just thought the corpse could bring some purpose to such a senseless death.
Strahd looks at Garrett and says,
Again, like I said, mindless puppet.
you have heard all of your soldiers, Commander. What would you like them to do?
He stays dead. Bury him. Burn him. Whatever the ritual is here.
Leave him for the wolves.
Isn't the ritual here the dead don't stay dead?
No, that's in the next lands.
Well, you all seem to have very strong opinions on this. And he points at the corpse and he says, multiple opinions.
Tough.
He says, but I'm inclined to as a symbol of good faith, allow your commander to exercise his rights, unless someone of you here feels so strongly that you would wish to go against him. And he just looks at each of you individually.
Not.
I continue getting him prepared for a service, a prayer service that I'm about.
Strahd looks at you, Kelf, and he says, "Get up. Get up."
I do not.
I
continue.
Considering he was my husband,
He starts
I'd rather
to walk,
do a burial
he
ceremony.
starts to walk over towards Kelf. Does anyone do anything?
What gods does he recognize?
mine.
I can dispose of the corpse if you want.
Strahd grabs you, Kelf. You resist?
He attempt to grab it.
Okay. Well, you're not surprised, so I need an action, and I would like an action from anyone else. So we'll start with Kelf.
Attacking.
Okay. Anyone else? Garrett? Nothing? Volmir? Nothing? Waldorf.
I move towards the
You
throne.
move.
Parlay.
All right. Well, Gelf, roll initiative. Vito 1.
Is this being done away from the body?
No.
It's right there.
Right
Okay.
there.
Okay. So he goes to grab you. Well, hold on. Gee, I gotta look up the stats now.
High. High is the answer.
You don't know.
I don't, but but I can guarantee they're high. I don't know
Okay.
exactly what they
So
are.
he hits an armor class of 3.
Not
Does
bad.
that hit?
No way, it depends on what he rolled. Did he roll a 2 and he
It-
got an armor class of 3?
It does hit.
Okay. So he moves into your square, and now he's going for a called shot throw. So he has a -4 to his attack, but you're both.
Grab me before he throws.
You did.
Well, in grappling, you got to get in their square first, because if he would have missed his first roll, you would have said zip, and he couldn't have even got a hold of it. That's the way that works. So now you're doing an opposed attack roll. So roll. So tell me what armor class you hit.
I hit an armor class of 5.
He hit an armor class of 3. Oh, I'm sorry. But -4, because he was doing a called shot, makes it a 7. So because he tried to throw you, you were able to wriggle out of his grasp. And he's standing there and he's face to face with you. It is now your turn. Well, Waldor, then you move somewhere. Where you move.
I'm moving. Oh, here, do we have a...
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I was going to say this.
So I'm moving to the base.
Okay. All right. And Kelp, it's your turn.
Alright.
What kind of attack are you doing?
19!
Are you trying to an unarmed strike?
Yeah, I'm punching him in the mouth.
Okay. All right. What armor class does that hit?
19 hits, -12.
All right.
And a 19 is a crit for me because of mastery of my fists.
Is there anything about your fists that are magical?
No.
Okay. So, would you like to take your offhand attack?
Aside from my ring being on my fist, a magic ring.
That does not
so
quite qualify.
What, I pass right through him?
No, you
Do I
strike
not?
him. With your main hand attack, you say, "Kakoosh!" and you strike up into his chin, and you guys all hear a thud. And Strahd just kind of sneers. His fucking lip curls up, and his tongue, his
Doesn't
fang
notice.
sticks out, and he goes.
Oh, he does.
Are you gonna take your offhand?
Snarling Elvis.
Yes.
All right.
Nice knowing you. Have a nice day.
That hits an armor class of 2.
All right. That time, you take your left hand, and you kind of like do this thing where you like push as he puts his arm up, kind of like push his arm out of the way, and you do an uppercut into his chest. But he manages to take, and he just kind of does this weird, and just kind of like floats back as if he's not even standing, and then comes back forward and stares back at you, and he says, "If you weren't so useful, I would kill you. But attempt anything like that again, and your usefulness will cease."
This body needs to be left alone.
I don't plan on desecrating or burning the body. As a matter of fact, it's coming with us. And he looks over at Ein and says, "You, my friend, will make sure nothing happens to it. That will be your personal duty. That corpse is to make it to where we're going in one piece, untampered. Do you understand?
Yes, my count.
Because if something happens to that corpse, the same will happen to you.
Yes, my count.
And then he looks back at you and sneers and he says, "Your holy powers are weak in this place. The sooner you learn and remember my words, Master Kelf, the sooner we can get this over with. Don't waste my time with your petty trifle fists!" And he turns and his fucking cape goes.
Oh dear.
And he walks back here and he goes to the
I begin to pray.
I'm sorry?
I begin to pray.
Okay. He says, "Ein, retrieve that corpse. You all, follow me."
Where am I?
You're following me. So, is there anyone that does not follow Strahd? Garrett?
I'm following.
Okay. Volmir?
I follow.
Cal?
I hang back with short-legged Waldor, and I follow as well.
Waldor?
Reluctantly.
I follow.
And Ein, you do as you're asked because you're a
Yes.
good boy.
Yes, yes I did.
All right.
I make sure that Ein goes ahead of us with the body though. So if Kelp tries to move ahead before Ein, I'll snag his leg or something.
Ein-
Just like yank his leg.
Ein, you can... He didn't give you any specific instructions, so I would just say if there's ever a moment when you lose sight or you know you need to keep an eye on Strahd to know where you're going. That will dictate how far away you are.
Yeah.
So, you all follow
I
Strahd
don't like being a good boy.
through the castle.
You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Sorry.
So I forgot, when you got here, Destiny, please introduce yourself and your character and anything else you'd like to say about her.
Well, my name is Destiny. My character is Volmir, a warrior elf. That is just a badass chick.
And though her figure does not show it, she is very pregnant.
She's a preg.
In February.
All right, so you follow Strahd through the castle.
Do I have time to say something?
You can, yeah, there's lots of time because you guys are walking and...
Hey, Waldor. Remember that thing you were trying to do with the bag of underbug that you wound up messing up? Is there a way that you could do that to this corpse so it stays fresh? So that it doesn't decay?
I don't believe so. I thought about this already, but I don't believe that will work on
Could be tried?
that. Only if you wanted to stain profusely.
No,
That
I
was
don't need it to
intended.
decay.
It was intended for food, not for.
Chris wants to say something, but he can't.
All right, so you go ahead of me and Kel. All right, so I lean over and I whisper to Kel. I don't mean to offend you, but part of my beliefs is that the dead can serve on. And since I believe once something is dead, it is just a husk. I do not find
I
any
understand.
problem.
I understand your position, but I'm trying to save his wretched soul from...
Oh, his soul's gone. And his soul's
God.
probably stuck here. And the only way to free a soul is to kill that thing and probably destroy that freaking chair on the stairs.
The chair on the
Unfortunately,
stairs.
I can't use my spells here. Or there was something I would have liked to have done that may have garnered knowledge from such thing. But I would be careful playing with him because this is all just a show for him.
All right. So, anything else before, as you guys are walking, does anyone want to say anything to anybody else?
So I'm dragging the body of Besmer, Basula, and Waldor and I are behind him.
If you're dragging the corpse, Strahd will order you to carry it.
And then I try to carry it.
What is your carrying capacity?
Not high.
I need a better answer.
55. He will put me beyond severe.
Okay.
I'm not that strong.
So what do you do to keep up?
Power.
Okay.
I'll step back and help him.
What power is it?
Adrenaline control.
And what does that do?
What that does is it allows me to take a die roll and, well, for flavor, it allows me to focus my body's ability to create and manipulate adrenaline and send it to various parts. What I can do is temporarily give myself a physical boost whenever I wish. And that physical boost, all depending on my roll, is a d6 applied to either strength, dex, or con. If I roll my power score, it's applied to all three.
Wow. Seems like this would be a very appropriate time.
And I am allowed to go beyond normal racial maximums. That is a key component of
Okay.
this.
So,
See how he rolls his power score.
I guess well, we'll see.
It
No,
is-
no. He's going to roll it without rolling it.
I can increase it, but it does take a hot. It's a little bit difficult for me, but I can go past racials. Alrighty, let's make a die roll.
What's the prep time?
0.
Well, that's great.
Disadvantage, right?
Correct.
13 and a 1. Neither are power scores, but neither are
They're
losses.
both
Oh,
successful.
I'm surprised you didn't do something else.
There's a couple other things I can do, but none that allow me to sustain like this.
No,
All right.
but you could have had your power score of it.
Yeah, I can, but I don't care about it. I care
So, do you have the power necessary to
about plenty.
initiate? Okay.
Unless I
And now what happens?
Now I roll a d6. If you want me to read. When he increases his adrenaline, the user gains 1d6 points to divide among his strength, dex, and con, however he chooses. So, that's the other I can.
So let's hope you get a good roll, huh?
Right. 5.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So, I do have to hit, once when I get to 18, I do have to hit each category,
Okay.
and I get to the maximum part of that category. So with a 5, I do not go to 19, I instead go to 18,
On your strength?
1 to 50.
No, you don't get that. It's just 18. You're not a fighter.
And if you want, give me a second. Rolling a 5 on 1d6, the user would increase his strength score from 16 to 1876. Specifically, I have to hit each category of strength.
Okay.
It's in the card.
No, I believe you.
I have to, yeah. So I can technically go to 19, but I have to go through each category of strength first.
I see.
So my strength is currently in 1850.
Okay.
It's psionics. They do weird things.
Okay.
I actually have another ability that I can make myself go, if I roll a power score, to an 18.
So as Strahd's leading you all through the corridors, he starts to get further and further ahead, and he goes around a corner, and as Ein is dragging this
helps.
corpse, you see him just stop for the briefest of moments, and then he proceeds to pick up the
You
corpse.
see my muscles start bulging almost as I pick up and carry this corpse like a backpack.
I smile and laugh at the blood running down his back.
I don't give a shit.
All right, so
I give 0 shits.
and how long does that last?
It lasts 8. It's an 8-4. So I do have to pay maintenance.
Okay.
And it's 4 per round.
So you have to maintain it for 5 rounds,
Not a problem.
and then he tells you to place the corpse in this wagon.
I do so.
And then if you wish to not maintain it after that, you certainly don't
I
have
do
to.
not.
He says, all right. I would like you all to remain here while I go make sure everything else is ready to go. And then I will come get you, and you will each pick your own horse. And then we will leave. So if there's anything that you think you want or need to do before we take off to see the Zombie Lord, now will be your chance. That includes possibly writing out your last will and testament. And he just smiles as he looks over his shoulder and leaves the room. Leaving you all there by yourself with the wagon and the corpse.
Now, the wagon, is it a covered wagon? Is it like a coach-like wagon? Or?
It's like a
Or is
wagon
it-
that I have somewhere.
I don't know what you do with your wagon.
Well, no, I've got lots of wagons, but
I know. It's one that's plain
We'll just
Jane
use
opens
that
up.
Okay, plenty.
all right.
So, I kind of nonchalantly nudge Kel and see if he'll follow me away.
I can barely hear you, Dan. I can't make out what you're saying.
I nonchalantly nudge Kel and see if he'll follow me a little distance away.
Okay, I stick close to you.
So, when I think that we're far enough from earshot, I whisper, you know he controls all of them now, right? With that chair. Whereas, the one that made that chair controlled them before. Since Strahd has it, he controls them now. Be careful.
I'm just not making out the words you're saying, Dan. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I hear something about the chair, and now Strahd has it.
So, you know that Strahd controls all of them now with that chair. So the one that made that chair before controlled them because they had the weapons. Now he has that chair, so he controls it.
Right.
And as far as I don't know what he's doing, but I know vampires can charm people, so I can only assume that
He's
he
under
has
his
them under some
influence for sure,
control.
but I think he likes it.
Oh, I'm sure he likes it. he really wants that ring, so he'll like it even more.
Dagger.
Or dagger. The weapon that turns things into a vampire, he's obsessed with it. Dude, he like slobbers at the mouth when you talk about it.
The throne is definitely a great source of dark power. I know that
I would hate to have to fight this dude.
we can possibly, you said something before about controlling that guardian. And I think we're going to need to do that at some point.
Well, we destroyed the Guardian at the last place. Somebody remade it. And, or at least that's my belief, somebody remade it. Maybe it was him.
Strahd remade the guardian and gave it new purpose. Its purpose, he's being underutilized according to the power of the throne. If that guardian realizes that it is out of its own natural time stream, it will set everything right. So we're going to need that guardian to defeat, forsooth, and possibly Strahd.
Well, I don't have the ability to control it like I did before. The item that I used to control it no longer works. There must be something else somewhere here. Maybe it's on that chair. Maybe it's not even the whole chair. Maybe it's just something he made into the chair that will control it. I mean, if I can figure out how the chair works, and I could control them.
Well, I said everything I know about it. When I cast my spell, I learned quite a bit, and the information flew from my mouth as I learned it.
I mean, if I could have been alone, maybe I could have found more. I had the ability to learn from mechanical objects. What? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm leery to say anything that I would find around them, because anything they know, then Strahd would know. Or the other one, for that matter. Maybe he still has some ties to it. I don't trust either of them.
No, they hacked Vasula to pieces. Supposedly we came all this way, but as soon as they disagree, watch your back, buddy. Watch your back.
I'm sure the Count controls them and had them do it. Whether they
I know
realize
he's
it or not.
got Hein under control.
Yeah,
he's definitely ordering him. I don't think he's ordering the other two. They're acting on their own.
No,
but
no.
in his best interest.
No, they have the weapons, and the weapons control them, and that chair controls the weapons. So he controls them through the chair. Didn't you hear that? The Asgard? That's what Forsooth. That's what Forsooth called them. For him to know that and call them that and be able to command that, that means he has control of them now.
We must learn more about this.
All right. So you guys have your conversation. Meanwhile, what are you three? Are you just waiting patiently, or is there anything you want to discuss with anyone there?
Will the body on the cart?
Already did.
Okay.
Is there horses out here?
Not that you can see.
Okay. I really need to meditate.
So you guys set him down.
I set him, he's on the cart. I really need to meditate, and I
You
won't.
kneel down next to him.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's in there. So you'll move over, and do you want to climb up in there, or to just look at him over the side?
You just look over.
Okay.
At him.
Yeah, he's not looking too good. As I described, his body has been mauled and broken and dismembered and everything else that goes with it.
I just quietly whispered that it was the only way to set him free.
The corpse that was Basula does not seem to react to your comforting words. And then I need you to make a intelligence check, please, on a D30.
$38.
38. Well, all right. So Strahd comes back. He says, all right, follow me. He says, Ein, if you need help pulling that wagon down this corridor, get one of your friends to help you. If not, I will meet you at the end of this corridor in the stables.
Garrett, would you be so kind?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you guys.
I'm gonna follow like right behind and in between you guys.
Okay.
Like right behind him.
Waldor and Kelf, do you just kind of follow Strahd, or do you stick with everyone else by the wagon?
I'll
Follow behind the
Strahd.
cart.
Oh, I'll follow Strahd.
All right, so Waldor follows Strahd out. Everyone else remains either pulling or with the cart. The corridor itself, the ground is dusty and dirty, and you notice that there's a lot of like leaves or dead grass or whatever kind of in the nooks and crannies of the floor and the walls. And as you look to the left, you can see that there looks to be like something that was there that's been boarded up and maybe kind of slightly bricked in. You don't know what it is before you pass by. And then you enter out into a much larger area where there's stables, and there are several horses there. There's also, you see a couple of people. That one butler guy is there, and you see him talk to a couple other guys. They come over and they hook up a couple mules to the wagon. And then Strahd says, pick yourselves out a horse. You'll find they're strong and sturdy.
My count.
Yes?
Would it be possible for me to be a passenger on the wagon? To use my, as you put it, crude abilities? I will need to meditate on the journey.
Do what you think is best to serve Strahd. And he waits for you all to get up on horses.
Are they all horses, or are any of them shorter than?
I'd move toward the wagon and climb aboard. I don't know how to ride a horse. I'll only slow us down if I try to maneuver that animal.
He says, I've got a better idea then. How about Kelf and Waldor? You all follow me. You get on a horse? Volmir, can you hear me? You get on a horse? Yes? Okay. So,
Do we have any pretty colored ones?
They all seem to be very sturdy.
Is there one just as black as dark?
There is.
That's what I want.
Okay.
Black as
They all have
It
riding
seemed-
saddles and some
it
small
seemed
saddlebags.
You didn't finish a statement. So you said, I have a better idea.
Yes, I do. He says, he points over at the butler. He says, which of one of them would you like to drive that wagon? And he says, this one here, my lord. So this guy that you've never seen before, he comes over and he gets up on the wagon and he says, follow us for a bit, would you please?
So I'm passenger as much as I can in the wagon. and
Okay.
I would like to use my non-weapon proficiency of rejuvenation.
Okay, you'll have to roll that,
Yeah, I'm well.
but I will tell you when to do that.
Will do.
He says, Kelf Waldor, follow me.
I
I
follow him.
I would say I feel sorry for you, but I know this will help our success. And you follow him to this wagon here, and you see it's got 6 horses, and you see him walk over to a peg, and he grabs this cloak that you've seen before and this hat, and he puts it on, and he looks just like the driver that originally took you to the castle the first time. And he's like, get in the wagon.
You get in the way?
I climb in.
Question for the DM.
Yes?
Does Ein realize that Strahd has some sort of control over him?
Nope.
Okay.
As far as you're concerned, he's
Yeah.
your greatest friend, and you can't help but really want to do your best for him.
Gotcha.
The only way that would occur is if Strahd asked you to do something that was so terrible against what you thought was a good idea.
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, so far that hasn't come up because
Unless he asks me to destroy myself,
he didn't-
in which case that will not happen.
he didn't ask you to destroy yourself.
He did ask me to stab myself.
He sure did.
Only to stab myself. Can I use lend health on myself?
All right, so the wagon takes off. The cart behind it, and you all that are riding horses, where do you take up in this train?
Follow the cart.
Okay. So we got your horses back here, and even though these are white, they're probably black horses. There we go. There's a black horse right there. Look at that. Look at that.
That'd be Garrett's horse.
Balmir, do you want a white or a gray horse?
Right. Neck not in.
Like there's an option.
All right.
They're all black.
The white bitch should be on a white horse. Oh, wait, hold on, we're not supposed to say that anymore. The Caucasian woman should be on the Caucasian horse.
Was that dumb or was that
It
just
is
me?
dumb as hell.
Okay.
And that's why I hate it so much.
Checking.
Freaking have to, well, I guess White Castle has to rebrand itself.
That's not a
Can
thing.
anyone order,
That's
can we
not a
order
thing.
black coffee anymore?
That's not a thing. But I can see how that could be. That
It's
could,
a joke because
yeah.
of...
That could
yeah.
try to be funny, but like. All right.
So as Kyle would be, he'd be like,
All right. So you take off, and you start riding, and you begin your rejuvenation.
All right. Well,
Go ahead.
25.
Sounds like it's successful to me.
It is.
All right. Nice. And as you ride out of the front of the castle, you see the portcullis go up and the drawbridge go down. And you exit the castle, and it appears to be nighttime.
Ooh, we're not supposed to travel at night.
Is there any way I can catch some Z's and rest while I'm riding in this wagon?
Are you asking the dungeon master?
Yes, I am attempting to fall asleep and rest.
Okay.
Have I cast any spells? Or have I?
Oh
have
my
I,
God,
Have I,
did you?
have I rested since last?
I don't remember you casting any
I
spells.
don't remember you casting
Did
any
I
spells.
rest it at all last?
Oh yeah, you cast one spell. You cast command.
Okay.
That was it. Because one of the dog, you guys fought some wolves, and you were like, get! And it was like,
Okay. All right. I will attempt to sleep as well.
all right. So the journey
Plus, if
begins.
you're on the bus.
I would like Kelf and Waldor to both roll d20s.
Remember that already? Had a speed bump
18.
or a pothole.
$19.
All right. I now need Garrett to roll a d12. Nine. All right. So you travel, and when the morning breaks, the wagon stops. It's pulled over to the side. The cart following it stops. And you all riding the horses find yourself being extremely tired. The Strahd or someone knocks on the door of the wagon, and you hear, get up.
I go.
I rise.
You have managed to sleep in this fairly comfortable and luxurious wagon. Ein, you have managed to rejuvenate for as long as you want to, but you are extremely tired.
Okay.
And those of you on horseback, you're extremely tired too. You rode all night. So Strahd says, I need you, Kelf, and you, Waldor, to exit this wagon. Do not disturb me for any reason. I expect you all to do as you agreed to, and that is all I want. When the sun goes down, I will come out of the wagon, and those of you that have had a chance to get some sleep and we will repeat this again. Any questions from anyone? Hearing none, he says, those of you that were riding all night, I would suggest you sleep under the wagon. Not mine, the one with the corpse in it. And then those of you that slept all night, don't let anything bad happen. And he proceeds to shut the door of the wagon, and you hear a click and something else go down, and you all that were in there know that there's a bar on the inside, and the windows, there's a clicking. And those of you that rode all night, being Ein and Garrett and Volmir, do you attempt to remain awake for any length of time?
All that I do is I take out my sword, I stick it into the boards next to me, and I attempt to sleep next to the body.
Okay, sounds reasonable. What about you?
But I make a show out of the whole sword thing.
Tie my horse up and get some sleep.
Okay, how about you, Volmir?
Hey, come on, where's the back?
Is there more horses traveling?
I forgot to.
I was just curious if there's other things coming by us still.
Okay. Do you do anything I need to know about, Volmir?
No, I just stood up against the cart and tried to go to sleep.
Okay, very good. Okay, so Kelp and Waldor, apparently you are there. Do you guys both start praying, or do you do anything else? And we'll start with Waldor.
I pray.
Okay.
So,
Do you any particular place, or just at by the wheels here?
I'm going to move away from his. I'm going to move a little distance away from everything.
Down the road?
No, just like maybe 15 feet away from the carts.
Okay. Do you go inside the tree line?
No.
Okay.
I'm just not wanting to be in the road. I assume
how-
you stopped right on the road.
No, you
Oh,
pulled off the side.
Okay, so I'm just not going to be on the road.
Okay.
Nowhere near the tree line.
Kelp, any place special from you?
I stay near the wagon that my companions are resting in and around, and I will do my katas and my prayers, my martial art routine, my feng shui thing. I mean, the other one, not feng shui, but yeah, with the occasional praise Kahulin, and I do that. I pray for an hour.
Okay.
I only need 10 minutes.
So-
I want to go 30 minutes if I can.
All right. So
Tai Chi, that's the one.
after you pray, what do you do?
I'm just going to keep an eye out.
Okay, you're going to stand guard.
Yeah, I'm just maybe
All right.
chat with Kelp.
Kelp, after you pray, what do you do?
What terrain are we in? It's a woodland area, and
Correct.
we're just off a road.
Correct?
I'm gonna gather some firewood, and I tell Waldor, hey, I'm gonna make a fire and try to cook up this ward.
I wouldn't go anywhere near the woods, dude. They're bad things.
You need to speak up.
Oh, I wouldn't go anywhere near the woods. There are bad things there.
Bad things in the woods?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
couldn't be.
You go near the woods, something will grab you, I'm telling you. This whole place is cursed. And
I meander in the clearing at the edge of the woods. I try to collect enough firewood to get a fire going.
Okay.
How wide is the opening for the road between the two tree lines?
Oh, we'll say 20 feet. And the road's like 10 foot wide.
All right.
So it gives you like 5 feet on either side.
So I won't go within 5 feet of the woods,
Okay.
and I'll try to help them.
So
gather
Kelp,
some
do you
food.
have any non-weapon proficiency which could help you in your scavenging?
In my search for wood? No.
Yeah. Okay, then just roll me a straight D20 then. Let's see if you...
Well, I said I was helping. That helps.
Oh, roll it twice then.
18.
Roll it again.
12.
Oh.
All right. So with Waldor's help, you gather. Actually, you find a tree that's fallen,
Hey, all
and
right.
you're able to snap off a bunch of limbs, and you can gather as much firewood as you want.
Very good. Do you have a flint, Waldor?
No.
No?
If you're wanting fire, I can do that.
What?
If you're wanting fire, I can do that.
That's what we need. Let's light this baby up. And I'll unwrap hide that I had put the meat on, and I'll try to, I don't have any cooking proficiencies either, so I'm going to try to get a stick that I can skewer through it, and I'm just going to start smoking it over the fire.
But he does have, of course, leather working.
Okay, so roll a d20. Let's see how you do.
8.
Okay. So, Waldor, how do you start a fire?
I'm looking for the right spell.
Alright. So you have a spell. When you find it, you use it to start a fire. If you don't, that's fine. So, Kelf, not being the world's greatest cook, you manage to cook, and it is edible, and that is about it. There's pieces that are undercooked, overcooked, burned. You realize that maybe this part of the flesh you're not supposed to eat, and everything that it comes from not knowing everything about cooking. But you can certainly makeshift. Even a non-proficient cooker can make something that's gonna get by. All right. So now I need Kelf to roll the d12.
That is a 6.
All right. So, the day passes. You stand guard, you keep an eye out, you hear the sounds of the forest. Occasionally you hear a wolf in the distance coming from over here, and then an hour later from over there, and you see a bird fly by and snag a mouse, and you're thinking, what a fucking idiot mouse. And then
What a genius bird.
and then the sun starts to set, and the wolves start to make more noise. And at first they're on your left, and then they're on your right, and they seem like they're getting closer until finally the sun sets. Before the sun sets, however, everyone that was sleeping, you can only sleep so much before you're like, fuck, I can't. And you get up. And the sun, you probably still have 1 or 2 hours of light left. So is there anything anyone wants to do at this particular time? Other than, get a bite to eat and...
I do point out that it's cooked. Hey, everybody, help yourselves. It's not the greatest, but it's some nourishment. And I work on tanning. I begin the process of tanning that hide into usable leather.
Okay. Anything from anyone else?
I partake, and that's about it.
Okay.
So what I will do is I'm going to fire trap one of the bottles, and then I'm going to tie something to the stopper and just pull it out so that it explodes onto the wood and catches on fire.
Okay.
So
Did that cost you a spell
yeah.
slot? Okay.
I mean, I have the one bottle. You know what? I'm just going to use the one bottle we have already. So I'll use that.
Okay.
So that was cast way back when.
Yes.
So that's like 1d4 plus
Okay.
probably one or
So
something.
it made some noise, but everyone was so tired that I'm going to say they just slept right through it. Might have attracted some creatures, who knows. All right, so I would like Bomir to roll a d12. As everyone is sitting there having some of this cooked ward, Bomir, roll me a d12.
I'm just going to be keeping watch. It's one of the few times that I can keep watch.
Bomir, what are you doing? Are you going to roll me a d12?
I'm gonna grab a bite to eat and then go sleep next to the card again.
Roll a d12. Roll a d12.
So I'll be using observation on the...
Yay!
You got a 1?
Yeah. All I had to do is play the creepy music.
Somebody's happy.
Time for fun.
All right, so Strahd has not yet exited the wagon, and we will place the fire
Under the wagon?
over here, not on the road, but like in between the cart and the road. We'll say the road's here. So the fire is over here.
No. I made it farther away so that we couldn't catch anything on fire.
Well, there's only 5 feet between the forest and the road. So the wagon's kind of half on the road, then half
like
off.
there.
So, everyone's kind of around there, and you're cooking and eating and getting.
I'm on the wagon, looking around. I should go for that. But yeah, I'm in the front of the wagon, just trying to look around, keeping an eye on everything.
We need a piece of gum. All right. Anyway, you're on the front of the wagon. Okay. So, all right. Let's see what happens. Oh boy. Destiny, roll me a D12, please. A 4.
So is it 4 werewolves?
All right. Damn. I don't see any over here. Okay. Ooh.
What are they, the goblins again?
Coming. You are not surprised. These things don't move very fast. Volmir, you are the first to hear them coming from the forest. You turn and you look, and you got this mouthful of cooked ward, kind of like you do right now in real life. And, and you see coming through the forest appear to be dead people. They're moving slowly, and they're walking with uneven gaits, and they are not, if the figures show a weapon, they do not have the weapon. They are just, and you all that have seen zombies before, it's obviously what these are, and you realize that they will just mindlessly move to attack whether you like it or not. And for that reason, I will need actions from everyone. So we'll start with who's closest and we'll go backwards. So Volmir, you're first. Do you have an action? I think you said attack.
She's going to use her +1 chicken wing.
Okay. Garrett says you're going to use your +1 chicken wing. Is that true?
No, it's a plus wing bone of war. Like the thigh
You can
bone
tell
of
Randy
war.
to fuck off. It's fine.
Or is it a
I
minus-
wouldn't though. I'd tell him to
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
skip off.
It's an improvised weapon, so it's a -1 bone of war.
All right. So Volmir's attacking. Garrett.
Oh, attack.
Kelf.
Casting.
Ein.
Power.
Waldor.
Controlling then.
Okay. Roll initiative, Volmir. Roll a d10.
Come on, 1.
Need a 10. So these zombies are like extra slow, which they really can't be because they always go last.
Wait. If they roll 10, does that mean they go at the very end of the round? Does that mean they go in the next round then?
What'd you get?
You said roll a d10?
I did?
I got 7.
Alright. Anybody on very fast?
Yes.
Alright, let me see if I can find some...
Battle music.
Yeah. Let's see.
I hate using powers right now.
Control
because it's so
undead.
fucking difficult.
Control undead.
Hey,
It goes on your face is what I thought we determined.
Right, yeah, so it'd be fast.
Because it's not a spell, it's an
Right.
ability. I think,
Right, it's
I'm pretty sure Cobb determined that it goes
What are
on
you
your
talking
face.
about?
Control undead
undead
is
speed.
very fast or fast?
I've been doing it wrong. It should be on fast, not very fast. You get to move. You get to move on very fast.
So it's not on your base initiative.
Okay. So, you're on very fast and you're using a power.
I would like to use Dimension Break.
Okay.
I got my 2 dice.
Okay.
First one is a 4, the second one is a 4.
Well, that sounds like a success. So,
Yeah.
Ein gets out his sword and
I
he
unstick it from
looks
the...
at it. Oh yeah, I guess you calmly walk over to the wagon. You say,
I was sleeping in the wagon. Oh wait, yeah. Never mind, I remember. You're good.
somehow you get your sword,
Right.
and then you look at it, and you see it go, and then it seems like it's
Doesn't exist in...
weird looking.
That way.
You can see it sometimes, other times you can't.
Yeah.
All right.
I turn it sideways, I can see it. I turn it
And
off,
then
I
we
can't.
go to fast, would be you. And actions go before movement. What's the speed of your spell, Kel?
5, I go on average.
Okay. So you're up.
Alright, you said these are ghouls?
I did not say they were ghouls,
Oh.
but they're obviously zombies
Zombies.
because of their slowness, the non-moving,
Oh,
the stoic
Zombies.
expressions.
Okay, alright. So
No, they're not these fucking fast zombies. I don't like fast zombies.
I just like fast zombies.
I like
okay,
really
so
slow zombies.
Since they're zombies,
I like slow
they
and
have a
hunters.
rating of D. And a rating of D means I automatically control 2d6 plus 2d4. So,
Really?
yes.
So what do you say?
So I look at them and I'm like,
And you're up here.
yeah, I hold my holy symbol while I look at them and I'm like, I command you to obey and go back into the woods!
Okay, roll your dice.
name something that big? That many?
I think he
So-
controls some.
So 10, I control 10 of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, so I control all of them.
Okay. And what is... So you control them.
Well, nice combat, boys.
There we go. All right.
There we go, yeah, that's much better.
And then who's next? Anyone else on fast? Okay.
What are they doing?
They seemingly have stopped.
Not good enough for me.
Okay.
Can I reach one?
Absolutely. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yep, I'll go towards a whole bunch of them.
Okay. You going to go right in between, or you want to just?
right between.
Okay.
That would be an armor class of -15.
That's a hit.
Small, medium.
Yes.
That would be 14 points of damage.
14.
Only 14? You suck, man. That should have killed 2 of them.
14.
It's a D8 plus 7. Sorry.
And let me guess, you rolled what? A 4 and a 3?
Just one D8.
How many points?
14.
Roll your knockdown.
You didn't kill it?
5.
All right. Nope. So you attack that one, and you do like you run straight through the middle of it, and you pull it out, and then just for good measure, you like jam it in its eye, and it goes through its head, but then it still like kind of reaches up and grabs onto the spear, and you jerk the spear out, and the thing's like. Rrr. And is there anything about anyone attacking a controlled thing which ruins the control? But meanwhile, while he looks that up, who's next on fast? Anybody? Volmir?
Yes.
Are you going to go ahead?
You said they stopped. You said they stopped moving.
They did.
Okay, then
Because you heard Waldorf behind you going blah 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 in the language that he speaks, and then they were like, "Oh, stop!" And then he came over and attacked this one, and it was like, "Ugh." So you can hold your action, or you can change it and bounce to the end of the round, or you can continue on with your original intent. You have options.
I'm going to change and bounce again.
Okay.
Wait, where's
And now we go to the average, which you get a second attack now.
That'll be more
Is that a hit?
16.
Okay, so you destroy that one because that's...
Go back up.
So that one, this time you take the spear again and you jam it through the center, and you hear a bone snap, and it just kind of goes... and falls over, and you pull the spear out and look at the other ones who are still standing still, kind of all staring off at Waldorf.
I actually have mine.
Like he's got his own little cult now.
Can I say something
You can?
to the group?
Yeah.
Protect the wagons.
All right, Kelp, it's your turn to cast your spell.
Oh, here we go.
I swirl my hands around each other and I pray to Kahulin, my masterful Kahulin, benevolent and fierce, harness the powers of Daga and bring forth a fist of fate. And I cast Fist of Fate.
And what does that do?
It creates an invisible fist of force to strike any being visible to the caster who is within range, 10 yards or 30 feet. The Fist of Fate strikes only once, cannot miss. It causes no damage to items, even fragile ones, acting only on living or undead bodies. It inflicts 4d6 to undead.
So which one do you target?
Right in the middle of the group.
Like that one?
Yes.
All right, so this, what you said, this fist happens, right? And you just roll damage, right?
Correct.
All right.
12 points.
12 points, okay. It is not destroyed, but as the fist comes down, it kind of like does this thing where it like goes along the front of the thing and it like shears off its right arm and its right side and goes down. You see the leg go snap, and it kind of just stays there. And then after that happens, it looks from Waldor and looks at you and goes. Apparently, you've got its attention. Okay. And Garrett, you get 3 attacks.
2 and 3.
Okay. So now it is this zombie that
I
Kel.
think I'm going to need to look at the DM's guide.
Go ahead. So this zombie here is the one that he hit and damaged. So it will go move up to Kel. 2 squares and attack you. And this is at the very slow after everyone else has had all their actions, but not at the bonus phase where Volmir would go. So,
Okay.
it attacks you, Kel. And it gets an armor class of 8.
That's a miss.
Alright, so it's kind of limping up there with its gummy leg in half and just takes its arm and goes, and you like smell the decay off it and you just go, whoa, and you kind of push it back and you stand there and get ready for whatever comes next. And Let me make sure that that's all that happens. Yes. Okay. All right, and now we go to the end of the round where Volmir has an action. Be nice.
I'm gonna back up.
You need one of them switches like that you can go. Don't they make those where you have headphones and then you can click it?
Yeah, that would be neat.
Okay. So you're just gonna move somewhere? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the cart where Visual is. And just stand as ready.
Okay. You wanna be right in front of the cart?
Yeah,
Okay.
blocking him.
All right. So you
from
kind of
undead.
squeeze in between Ein and the cart there. Not an issue. Okay. And that is the end of the round. If there's any maintenance being paid, that would be paid
I
now.
pay it.
And the fist is still up in the air, or is it a one-time thing, Cal?
It goes away.
Okay.
It goes away.
All right. So now we go to round 2.
This is what I.
Go ahead.
This is what the book says. So I can command up to 12 undead at one time. The T results mean the undead automatically obey the evil priest, while a D means the undead becomes completely subservient to the evil priest. They follow his commands to the best of their ability and understand until turned, commanded, or undead by another. It doesn't say anything.
Okay. Well, we'll just say that one went rogue.
So
All right. So as far as you all are concerned, after the one moved up and attacked Kelf, you heard Waldor go in his language, "Ah!" and he kind of points out, and you almost feel like the power of darkness whoosh over everyone's backs, and the zombie goes docile again and just stands there and looks up at Waldor. So all these creatures here are just looking up
I
at him.
told them to head back into the woods when I commanded them. When I took control of them.
Okay.
So I guess you
So,
missed that part.
on their turn, well, I was wondering you're going to take control of them, but I was like, okay. So on their turn, they will turn and leave, leaving the one there. And now we go to the next round. So actions, Kel.
So the one that attacked me, attempted to attack me, is still there.
Correct.
But after Waldor shouted again, it
Well, no,
turned its attention away from me.
Correct.
I withdraw.
Ein.
Upon seeing them not do anything, I end my power.
Garrett.
No.
Okay. Volmir. Waldor.
Just gonna talk.
All right. Well, combat is effectively over, so you withdraw. You guys can do whatever you want. You just got a basically a undead thing just standing there looking at Waldor, and you guys are like, oh, so do whatever you want.
Well, are you going to
Go
get rid
into
of
the
it?
woods!
You tell it to
Yeah,
flee?
yeah.
All right. So it leaves, and unless someone else wants to do anything, that is over. Nothing? All right. So the power of Waldor's faith has
Saved the day once again.
Nice job.
defeated the zombies. All right.
I hope that Dorbenghast doesn't get mad because we, defended ourselves against his minions.
I think those are just random rovers. I don't
Those
think
are
they're
not his
necessarily
minions.
his.
Dorbenghast does not control the zombies.
So I think he can if he wants.
Well, hopefully it's not a show of ill will.
All right. So after that brief, tense but brief encounter, Do you guys do anything during this time other than prepare to keep going?
Prepare to keep.
Nothing? All right. So as the sun finally sets, you hear some sounds come from the wagon, from the big carriage, I should say. And out comes Strahd, and he looks around, and you see him look at all of you, and then he looks around some more.
Good evening, my count.
I see you all have not died. Congratulations. He then walks over and looks into the cart at the corpse that's in there, and he says, very good. He says, those of you that have been on guard all day, you may go into the carriage. The rest of you, take up your stations.
Thank you, Count. And I go back to the carriage.
Okay, so whenever you guys get in the carriage, you do anything other than that I need to be aware of?
No.
That was pretty neat the way you made those zombies go back in the woods. Saved us from having to beat them to death.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have took a lot, but it's more of a nuisance to deal with them than anything. They were so low that they had no choice but to obey me.
Very good.
There
Well, get
was-
some rest. I guess we'll be on guard again tomorrow.
Yeah, there was no contest of power there. Now, if there were to be more than 12 of them there, then I can have them turn and attack the other one.
I thought you might choose one of them to serve you or something like you were hoping to do with Basula, but
Yeah, but
I
they're
guess
not
they
going
weren't
to.
that useful.
Well, they're not going to be able to keep up with the.
Oh, yes.
I mean, and I'm sure he doesn't want to tag it along on top of everything. So
That
I
makes
just
sense.
figured it wasn't worth anything. So send them back in the woods. I don't know if he would frown upon me destroying them uselessly. I don't know if he has some purpose to them, but
May Kahulin bless your dreams, friend. I'm going to get some rest.
all right. Good night.
All right. And
And
once again, you feel the carriage take off. The wagon being pulled by the donkeys behind that. Ein, are you staying on that wagon?
Yeah.
Okay. And then bringing up the rear is Volmir
Is there an
and...
open horse?
Huh?
Is there an open horse that's with us?
Nope.
Then yeah, stay on the wagon.
All right. This time, I would like Waldor to roll a d12.
Check.
close, but it's a 7.
No cigar?
It's a goofy one.
Okay. And Ein, roll a d12.
I'm rolling a d12.
You roll.
I rolled 2 ones.
2 1.
Okay,
At
so
least it was 1. I told you that.
the lights from the lanterns that are in the front of the carriage provide the light that they will. The sound of the horses going along the road. And you all that are not familiar, you notice that you're passing into a different sort of landscape. There's a misty rain that starts to fall, and it's getting down into your cloak, and if you have anything on, the little bits of moisture can get in on your skin, and it like gets down into your boots if they're not covered up by your pants. If your like pants are tucked into your boots, obviously the moisture will get down in there. The sound of the horse hooves start to lose one sound and gain another, but you keep trudging on. And then eventually the rain stops, and you notice that there's a tiny sliver of light coming up over the horizon. And those of you that are awake at this time, you realize that you've entered into a different type of terrain. You're no longer in a forest, but you're entering into more of a lots of hanging vines and long branched thin trees, and the ground seems moist, and occasionally there's pools of water. And
Is there a lot of undergrowth?
yes. And then right about then the carriage stops, and as the
I'll be right
night
back.
as the night before, Strahd gets off of the thing that is on the front of the carriage. It's called like a foot thing or a something or other. I forgot the term for it.
You ride shotgun?
A footman's ladder?
No, the part where you
Oh.
sit on the front of the carriage, that's got an actual name. I just don't remember what it is.
Cobb, question, are we awake
Not
long
yet.
enough to maybe pray before we leave the carriage? I need 20 minutes.
You, I'll me explain it like this. You kind of get up and you're thinking, oh man, I'm not feeling too bad. And then you think about praying and you realize that the ride itself is not conducive to
Very good.
a stillness of mind to allow you to pray. But
That
then
makes
you come to a stop, and if whatever you choose to do after that, but you realize that shortly thereafter there's a knock, and it's like
Near.
Strahd's voice. Okay, ship
As soon as
change.
we stop even, I'll be ready and open the door,
Okay.
exit the wagon.
I can get used to this whole being up at night thing.
Unless I find that the door doesn't open when I try to open.
Well, you open it. You do not appear to be trapped.
It would suck to be out of the light though.
And now, Strahd says, as before, now you should be aware that we have entered into the lands between. There are creatures here that I can only guess are remnants of Forsooth. They will be unlike anything I'm guessing that you've ever seen
Except for when we...
or dealt with. If you
So we
have,
are.
then it might not still help you. All I know is, even for me, this is dangerous. If I could, I would take other precautions, but then I would be, how should we say, violating the terms of our
Arrangement?
it's like you don't go into your neighbor's house unless you're invited, and I have only been invited here if I am who I am. I have other ways of going places, but if I do that, it will put our negotiations at risk.
It's like going in through a window when you've been invited through the front door.
I don't expect, and then he kind of stops, and he's like, anyway, you all are free to make your arrangements as you see fit. And he closes the door behind him. And just as he closes it, the first ray of sunshine goes bzzz, and beams over the top. And the guy that's driving the wagon, he proceeds to perform his duties as a groomsman and takes care of all the horses and feeds them and brushes, and that's all he does. He doesn't really interact with you guys. He seems like he's got a lot
Have you a tarp on your wagon? I say to him. Is it still raining?
No, it has stopped.
Okay then.
Roll me a D30.
There, tape. 12.
12. He says, I have this small tarp that I use to cover supplies.
Are you using it, or if it rains, can I grab it to create some shelter?
That's what being under the wagon would be for.
Very good. I suggest you guys sleep under the wagon in case it starts raining.
What's the ground like?
Where you are right here, it's pretty firm. It's not like all waterlogged. I mean, it's moist. It's wet, like if after a rain, the ground, but it's not mushy. So you can certainly make a
So what does
place.
the terrain look like? Is there like trees around?
There's like as you look around now that the light's coming up, you see that there's a layer of fog that's kind of coming up off of the ground, and there seems to be a lot of water and a lot of vines that hang and a lot of trees that are kind of, and there's a weird sound, which I will pull up because I can do that.
I'm crawling underneath for some Z's.
If we get into a fight, I would ask that you guys protect the coach. I will stay with this one.
Okay. Well, let you and Volmer stay with this.
I will stay.
Occasionally you hear the bubbling as if something is going on in the water, and you hear the buzzing of insects that are annoyingly zooming around you, and the air is moist and seems like it's warmer than what you're used to. It felt like Barovia had a little bit more of a cool chill in the air, where this seems more fetid and humid, but there's also there's a lot more noise. It's a different noise. Barovia had a lot of stillness, where this seems like it's full of life, but it's all annoying because there's bugs and drips and things that slither off a tree, and occasionally a bird will land. And
I climb up on the ladder again, and I pull out the eye of pursuit, and I scan the area.
okay. Well, within the 30-foot range that gives you, it doesn't look like anything is being revealed to you.
It doesn't let me see through the fog or anything.
Like I said, the fog is just kind of raising up over the bog, and so you're going to sleep. Volmir, you turning in? It's been a long night.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. And Ein, what about you?
Yeah, I turn in.
Are you doing the same thing? You're going to sleep in the wagon with the corpse?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I need to
Speaking of, I
protect it.
think I'm gonna have to get out of here, because I didn't go to sleep at all last night.
Okay. Go ahead and.
I know we were passing out.
All right. We'll carry on without you.
Have a
See
good
you
one.
next
Alright,
time.
sorry guys. I'll see you next week.
Take it easy.
Peace.
Peace. And so that's this guy here. He will go up and sleep underneath there. after he's done with all of the horses. And that leaves Kelf and Waldor once again. So,
Before you go to sleep, Monty, do you have a way to raise one of my abilities?
There is one way. There is a path. You can only work with strength, and I am not going to get it. I'm not going to work towards it.
I need to find a way to make me smarter. So if we were to ever encounter a certain creature,
Well,
I have a
doubt that's
spell.
possible with you.
I have a spell. Yeah, thank you. I have a spell that I can cast, but in order for it to work well, I'd have to be able to endow myself higher than what I am now.
Sounds like you need to grow, not get smarter.
And the spear whispers, I'm still smarter than them all.
Wait till I get mine. That's all I can say.
So Waldor, I think I can create an area of some protection around the cart that'll keep us maybe keep the predators away or any mischievous miscreants. I don't know if you plan to go out and roam around or...
No, I don't believe that would be wise. So Master Kell, do you have a way of boosting another person's mental attributes?
Another person what?
Mental attributes?
I can detect when people are using psionic abilities if I try to.
No, can you raise another person's mental faculties? Like, could you make someone
perhaps.
smarter?
I know of a way to do it on myself. I'm not sure if I can transfer that blessing to you.
I wonder if I have the same ability, I just don't realize it.
By the grace of Cthulhu, I can channel the energies of my strength to make me smarter or healthier if I wish.
Okay, you guys that are trying to get some sleep in this godforsaken place, I want you to roll me a d20. What'd you get?
3.
A 3?
7.
Yeah,
7.
see, he farted right after that. 3.
Okay. The bugs seem like they really like the taste of you.
Imagine that.
It's
And I'm the one next to the corpse.
it's really irritating, and unfortunately that corpse is stinking like you wouldn't believe.
I asked,
So apparently you guys aren't going to get any sleep today. Unless you do something to change your situation.
let's see if I can force myself asleep somehow.
I'm moving out from underneath the cart.
Okay. What do you do?
Go out in someplace 15 feet off to the side and put my bedroll down, cover my head up.
Try again.
Try again.
Okay.
Dan, I mean, Waldor, I don't think I can't transfer that blessing upon someone else.
Okay.
Okay.
Really, Gary?
That group we had.
You guys all done then? Waldor and Kelp?
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep an eye out.
Okay. You, where are you hanging out?
I'm gonna be on the wagon looking around.
Okay, the
do some
stench of the
observation.
corpse on the wagon is almost unbearable.
Oh.
There was some.
I'm gonna try to bear it then. Considering how I'm gonna try to bear it since I've been around death so much. I'm gonna get used to it anyway.
Yeah, you'd think, but normally you have something that you do to change the situation and the things that are getting in your nostrils. Nobody likes being around a corpse. The stench, anyway.
So after I can't bear it any longer, then I'll move away.
Okay. And Kelf, where do you hang out today?
I am, I'll go back by Strahd's wagon, by the carriage over that way, wherever is upwind of the stench of the corpse.
Okay. And that's where you'll kind of just stand guard?
I'll hang out over there. I'm just gonna pray and work on my leather.
So I see everybody constantly like moving around and restless and stuff.
Yep.
Before I go to bed, I have a way to fortify you guys for the night to help you out if you guys can't sleep.
Longmere says, what is it?
It'll last for a whole day.
Can you cast it now?
Yeah.
It'll help us sleep, you said?
No, it won't help you sleep. It'll help you chally forth through the night.
She says, Kelf, is there anything you can do do you have anything that can keep the bugs off us?
Let me see if I've got enough of this salve here, this dust, that I've collected through my herbalistic endeavors, Cobb. I'm using my herbalism.
Okay. So you
And
you think, well, let me see, and then you think back to your herbalism and you think, there's a thing called what's that plant that keeps bugs away? It's not
Cedar?
aloe, it's something.
Cedar?
Citronella.
Yeah, citronella. So you're like, okay, there's a
And
plant.
it grows natural in this region.
So you will try to find it,
Yeah.
and you will roll your herbalism.
28.
No, you're rolling a proficiency check.
Okay, 18. I didn't add I thought I added my herbalism number to it.
Oh, did you roll a d20?
I did.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay, so yeah, you wander off a few feet, and you kind of start going, and you're like, oh, cling, and you find what you need to create a repellent from natural ingredients.
Very good.
And you made your roll, and you create it, and then while these guys are fucking suffering, and you even start to suffer a little bit because you're like out of the wagon, out of the carriage, and even Waldor's
Right.
getting like shit in his beard, and you're like, ow, ow. You create this, and now I need you to roll it again.
And am I adding my herbalism
You
once
are.
again?
Yes.
16.
Total?
She asked.
Okay. So, Kelf, you guys are like, just, this sucks. Kelf comes over, and he gets out his equipment, and he mortar and pestle, and he's smashing this stuff up, and he's getting some water, and he's creating a thing, and then he comes over to you, and he says, all right, here, this should help, and he...
I smear a little bit
yeah.
on everybody.
And then now,
Thank you.
Right.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
it seems to help enough to where you can kind of drift off to sleep. However, being out where you are, you feel exposed. Do you wish to remain from under the wagon, or do you
No,
return?
I return to the wagon.
Well, when you go back to the wagon, it still stinks.
Can I sleep?
You can try,
I tried.
okay?
Can I make a check of
You guys underneath the wagon, it's not so bad. It's like the stench goes up instead of down. So I would like you to roll a d20 and you to roll a d20. 8, okay. What'd you get?
We traded basically. 2.
3, 2. Okay, yeah. So you and Volmir are like, you're just tired enough and you start to drift off. You, on the other hand, you're like, well, I'm not getting eaten, but then you're like, oh, god damn. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, I go back underneath. I go underneath where they
Okay.
are.
And like, there's not a lot of room, so do you like, how do you?
All right, so since they're having so
Okay.
much problems, I'm like, all right, dude, I will try this, but if it fucks the body up, it's on you, and you take responsibility for it.
What are you
So-
gonna try?
So he's down and he's thinking, okay, I'm gonna, and you can already tell you're underneath, and suddenly you see little Waldo walk up and he points down and he goes,
I stick
I'm gonna
that-
try this.
I stick a hand up and go, before you do anything, you remember when we were in the bar that one time?
That's what I was asking.
Somebody get a glass of water.
I mean, that's for food, though, and that's the only thing I have.
Hey, here's Scott Wiley.
Well,
I mean, it's food for
What's
bugs.
up, Scott?
and
remember
stuff,
what you're doing to the drinks.
That's Scott
Hey.
Wiley on there?
Yep. Up 7 minutes
Do you remember
ago,
what
he
you're doing
said,
to the drinks?
I'm watching from orbit, no
Oh,
funny
chill?
business.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm guessing he's in a jet or something. Right.
No,
If you're watching
helicopter.
in a jet,
It's
oh,
probably a
helicopter.
helicopter.
Jet, helicopter, whatever. Just don't get shot down, please.
Hey, whatever you do, I know you pray to both. We don't need any of the dark here. Only the goodness can go to this to make
If
it
you make
smell
the
any
body
better.
cold, it'll keep it from smelling like that.
Yeah, but that only lasts briefly, and then it warms right back. Now, if we can put them in a suit of metal armor, I can do that for a while.
I'm not giving up my armor. It can stink.
I could have prevented that stench, but no.
That's what I was waiting on! The Dungeon Master goes, yeah!
So,
Can you still prevent it?
No. Do you enjoy being Strahd's puppet, Ein?
What do you mean?
I mean, do you enjoy doing everything he says? Everything he tells you to do?
I do everything he says just like I do Garrett. Strahd's a really great guy. I don't understand why you're so upset with him. You know that? I would do
He's
everything
a
for Strahd
an
that I
impressive
would do for
individual. I agree.
Garrett. Everything that I would do for Garrett, I would do for Strahd.
I've never seen you stab yourself at Garrett's whim. Of course,
No,
I haven't known you that long.
but I did assist in cutting out my own rib.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that story.
And he watched.
But didn't you stab yourself? You pulled your knife out as you knelt before Strahd and pierced your own flesh?
I do remember that, right? Yeah, of course. It was just to show that I'm a good guy. See,
You ought to see
With-
the guy that was
with-
there
with-
watching it.
with Garrett, we've spent enough time with each other that I've proved myself to him. That was the only way I could prove what a great friend I am to Strahd. Okay?
Just as you raced to his side, to his right hand, when he presented us with his feast?
Of course, why not?
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
I see.
Brother Kelf, if I somehow manage to...
Hold on, pause. For your excellent role playing, you will have advantage on your next roll.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Continue.
So, Brother Kelf there, so if I manage to get this thing to not stink anymore, can you cast that spell that you were talking about to stop it from decaying?
No, I can't stop the stench now. It's too late for that.
Bowen's like, come on.
No, I meant if I fix the state of the body, can't...
No.
No.
Strahd doesn't want me to touch it, and if I do anything to it, he'll do that to his new best friend. If I were to take his rib, that would be very useful. And it would take yours.
I can regrow another one, technically.
If I cause the corpse to decay into dust so that it no longer stank, he would do the same to you.
Only after I did it to you.
As I said, I cannot help your situation with that corpse anymore. I tried. So yeah, it stinks. But I do have the ability to make your bodies resist the fatigue of not sleeping and being forced to march and travel when you really would rather not.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I'm
was
saying
trying to
now.
tell them.
See
Yeah.
if you can get some sleep first, though.
That's what I'm doing, trying to do now.
So I know this.
Maybe you should go way over there where it doesn't smell bad.
I'm good.
So I know the spell that I want to use does not work on creatures, but I'm trying to figure out if he's considered a creature at this point. Because
Well, he's certainly a creature of some sort.
Yeah, but it's dead. So is it considered a creature still, or
That would be a...
He's
is
in
he
his human
considered
form.
food?
Well, he-
He can be considered food for the
At
animals.
this point, that is a you know how your spells work question.
Creature usually means individual, like if it can target one creature on a rules note there, and I think creature could be an individual as well as a monster.
So I want to roll my spellcraft, Cobb, to see if I know whether my spell would have any effect on this or not.
Remember, whatever you do to it, we get to watch Ein get.
So
What are you doing?
I'm curious if purified food and drink would work on the corpse, because in my mind it's just
Okay.
bug free.
You don't have to roll for that. You know it won't.
Oh. So if we were cannibals, it wouldn't work either. I see that little smart. I see the little smart.
I'd have to give it some serious thought, but luckily you guys aren't cannibals, so I don't have to give it that much
I'm
thought.
kinda hungry. Alright.
Yeah.
No, I'm
You don't
pretty
know
sure I
next.
can't do nothing for it.
Okay, so what, are you guys still interacting, or?
I'm gonna try to go to sleep, I guess.
And you could always take the body and like move it over there.
All right, so
Out of the way. and
I
use for children.
don't have psychokinetic.
Volmir and Garrett, you managed to fall asleep with the help of Master Kelp's bug repellent.
Man, who keeps barking?
Ein,
Yes.
you are not bothered with bugs, but you kind of get down underneath there and you kind of try to get comfortable, and that stench is just fucking, you can't seem to shake that. And unless you do something else to change your situation, you figure that that will continue for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, Kelf and Waldorf. Kelf has moved up in front of the carriage and is upwind, so he's not having to smell the corpse. Waldor, do you hang out any place in specific?
I'm just going to kind of roam around the area.
Okay.
You know, but I'm going to try to force myself to try to learn to deal with the smell.
Okay.
So I know that it's hard, but since I'm going to be dealing with undead and stuff.
All right, so let's do this first. Kelf, roll a d12.
3.
Waldor, roll a d12.
8.
All right. Waldor, make me a Constitution check with disadvantage.
Well, that would be a 30, and that's even higher, so 30. So I rolled
All
a
right.
17 and 19, so 30 would be my lowest one.
Okay, so you don't immediately gain immunity
No,
to the
I
hold
know.
on, let me describe the scene. You don't immediately gain immunity to the stench of a rotting corpse. But you do realize that at about 10 feet away, outdoors, the stench is where it starts, even if you're upwind. Downwind, you're sure it's going to attract all kinds of predators. So, that is what you learn by what you said you were trying to do. If you would have failed miserably,
I just threw up.
you would have decided that, yeah, things would have been bad. But you're a stout, hardy little guy, and that is information well served. So,
I figure I just gotta get used to things over time.
So does he move upwind of it?
as you're kind of like trying to get comfortable and trying to like go like that, and then you like pull up a piece of your clothing, you wrap it around, and you're like, oh, maybe, but then you're like, think maybe you might be choking, whatever. You can tell that Waldor is, occasionally he walks around, you can hear him. He's not the loudest individual, but you can hear.
I take a page out of their books and I try to go upwind.
Okay. Where do you go?
Like 5 feet upwind of the cart.
You mean here?
Wherever, if the wind is coming this way,
Yeah.
then yes.
Okay. All right.
See
So
if it's more bearable.
you're out in the open. You're exposed. You don't feel as good, but it is more bearable there. All right.
Somebody go under his cart?
Huh?
When I'm walking around, did somebody actually go underneath his cart?
You talking about the carriage?
No, Strahd's cart. It
Yeah,
looks
this
like-
is a carriage,
Okay, the
and the
carriage.
driver of this wagon is under there.
Oh, okay. I was like, somebody...
The
one of our guys-
groomsman, if you will, the
Let's see.
servant of Strahd.
You would say, he...
All right.
He fucking... He
Go ahead
said
and roll
nobody's
this
the
one.
one who did it.
That's a natural 20.
That is a 19.
Okay. You learned that you can either be out of this and like have some type of shade and be under the cart, or you can be exposed and take your chances with that. Either way, you're affected by your surroundings.
So one is no stench, I can sleep, and one is I can't sleep, but I get protection, correct?
It's just the feeling of being exposed.
Is unnerving.
Yes. I would say you feel like you doze off occasionally before one of the horses makes a noise, and you're like, ah, and then, or something in the swamp makes a noise, ah. So you just don't sleep well.
Okay.
And what that means is during the 6 to 7 hours that you do sleep, if you would have been down a lot of points, it might have mattered, but I don't know how far you're down right now, if any.
I'm down by a very little bit.
So you still manage. All right. And then just as the last light of the setting sun goes away, Strahd comes out. And once again, he looks around. You guys that are under the cart, you hear that. It's unmistakable. The sound of the carriage door opening up and the feeling of Strahd's presence causes you to wake up. It's as if someone was standing over you in your bedroom and you like look and there's nobody there. That's the feeling you get. So
As long as it's not Pennywise, I'm fine.
at this moment, everyone is awake, and the groom is proceeding to take care of the horses and get them off the picket line and reattach them and everything, checking them all out. Volmir and Garrett, you're...
I'm taking my blanket
Brother Kell.
and I'm taking my knife and I'm cutting a couple of little slits off. About like that.
Okay. And then,
I'm going to get them wet with my canteen. Or no.
there's plenty of water around.
And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to roll it up like this and do one for each nostril. And I'm going to see if that affects the smell.
Well, I would think it would.
Okay.
I mean, it's not an airtight vacuum in your nose, but it's better than nothing.
Okay.
Then one could taste it more readily as you breathe through your mouth.
What'd you say? One could text more readily? What?
Taste
One
it.
could taste it
Oh,
more readily as you breathe through your mouth.
Tasting it already.
okay.
I'm definitely
so
going to try this tonight
you do that.
or tomorrow.
Okay. Volmir waits, and then she proceeds to reach in her bag and get out a little piece of bread, and she just eats it in silence.
Oh, yes, Strahd. How many more days we have?
Just one.
Anything for the smell?
What smell?
The body.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm afraid
That's one of the things that you don't have when you're not alive.
I'm afraid it's going to start attracting attention that we don't want.
That's why you're here.
Just fine.
Okay, so
Hey, Brother Kell, do you want to cast a spell that will help them through the night?
I'll be
Or
back
do
in
you
a
want
second.
me to?
Oh, that'll be
We'll
fine.
be fine. It's if we don't get sleeping.
I just, you guys look like you're not sleeping really.
They got rest last night, didn't they?
Yesterday, yeah. Mine was rough, but everybody else seemed to just sleep just fine.
Okay, well, just
We
offering.
only have one more day's travel, the count said.
Alright, well, I guess we're gonna go sleep then. Off to see the zombie lord.
We're off to see the zombie, the wonderful zombie of Barovia. How's that?
I had a map of a swamp I ordered specially, and somehow it fucking disappeared.
Oh, man.
It's fucking crazy. I don't understand. I got it out. And now all of a sudden it's gone. Just
Was your son over here?
and they don't touch that stuff. My one old son doesn't leave his room, and the little son, he's downstairs with me all the time. He wouldn't get caught dead doing something else.
I was referring to your older one.
Yeah, no, he has no interest in this kind of stuff. But it's not that big a deal. It's just frustrating because I bought specifically, and I got it out and was like, okay, this is what I'll do. And then somehow, just up and disappeared.
Is it a battle map, the one you had last week?
No, that one I have here. This was, it was a battle map, but it was a swamp. And it's like, it just fucking disappeared. It's weird. Alright, well anyway, you guys, do you do anything else different today that I need to be aware of? Kelf and Waldor, do you go ahead and go back in the carriage?
Go sleep.
I do.
Okay. And Garrett, anything different from you other than you creating the nose blockers?
Nope.
Okay, Ein?
Nope.
Alright.
No more shenanigans.
Okay. So, you start to go through the road through the swamp. As you go through the swamp, even though it's nighttime, the bugs kind of, they're, for the most part, they die down. They quit eating you alive. But the sounds of the swamp and the sounds of the insects, they're still around.
Dude, this smells worse than the bog of eternal stench.
Occasionally there's a tree that's kind of gets a little too close to the road, and Strahd asks Garrett and Volmir to come up here and clear the way. Do you? Okay. As you and Volmir are clearing away this tree, you see what looks like I don't know, it's like a
Penis, but only smaller.
On the road, like a pile of like vines and branches, and like a storm has deposited a bunch of debris in your way. And Strahd just kind of points and says, "Clear that away, please." And then he kind of looks. He says, "That looks like a lot. Ein, come up here and help them. That
Power.
I'll."
Is it like a big tree limb, or is it just multiple small things?
Yeah, multiple small things like
Okay.
vines and
Then I just help move it.
okay. I need Garrett to roll me a d10. A 4. Well,
I would have shot it with a bow. Because I don't trust anything.
Hold on.
If in doubt, always shoot it with a bow.
Let's see if it's here. No. Okay, let's go here. There we go. Okay. There it is. Okay.
It's just like when you're in a tavern, always stab the chair and the table before you sit down.
That's like saying
Okay.
stab the chest before you open.
The smell of the rotting vegetation on the road that you all are moving is not nearly as bad as the corpse, but it is still bad. And you can even get a little bit of a hint of it from in your nose blockers there. The ground kind of is wet, and as you stomp around, you know it's muddy. And suddenly, the group of rotting vegetation stands in a vaguely humanoid shape, and it looks like this.
I told you I would have shot it with a bow.
It looks like a massive heap, a pile of vegetation, and it appears to be vaguely humanoid, and you are surprised. Well, let me see. You rolled a 4, right? Okay. So that would be hold on. 4. No, you rolled a 4. So a 1. So does anyone have a +3 on their reaction adjustment?
Doesn't pull me.
No?
Get something
Okay,
for
she
me.
doesn't, unfortunately. All right, so you all are surprised.
One one I would think would be Kelp.
Unfortunately, he's asleep.
Oh, I thought for being an elf.
Kelp?
I thought you got a surprise bonus for
Yeah.
being an elf or something.
All right, so let's see. It has huge arm-like appendages, and it swings them both. And the number of attacks is that. Okay. And its THAC0 is that. All right. Here we go. So, I would like Ein, Volmir, and Garrett all to make charisma checks. Volmir gets a 28. Garrett gets a 14. Ein gets a
24.
All right, so it looks like it is going to attack Garrett and Ein. And let's see if I can find.
I should have just fucking done the Dimension Blade.
The Witcher Swamp Forest 1 hour music. Okay, let's see what that sounds like.
The Witcher?
Video game, not the series.
All right. So, with its first attack on Garrett, that hits an armor class of -6.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Garrett, you take from its huge clubbing arm-like appendages of vegetation and vines, and how come I can't find another fucking D8? There we go. D8. 14 points of damage. This creature is considered large, by the way.
Ooh, yay.
And you need to make a save versus paralyzation.
Easy.
All right. With its other, it attacks Ein. That hits an armor class of 0.
By fucking 1.
That's a hit?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. And Ein takes only 6, but you do not have to save versus paralyzation. So, that is the end of the surprise round. We now go to round number 1. Actions. We'll start with Garrett.
Oh, we're going to attack.
Volmir will attack. Ein.
Power.
Okay, Waldor and Kelf are sleeping. Strahd will attempt to awaken them. All you guys have your attention on that creature, but I need you all to roll D30s for me. Kelf, Ein, and Volmir. I'm sorry, I'm not Kelf, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say here.
Volmir, Ein, and Garrett.
Adding anything to it?
You're at your intelligence.
29.
Okay?
32.
Okay. Good, but not quite good enough. Alright. So, we will roll initiative. And how about if Ein rolls it?
Alright.
Be a 10. This creature is going to move in the
7.
slow phase.
I'm liking this 10 rolls
I
on the
think
first
it's
rolls.
I think it's slow. I think it's large. Let me check the size. Yeah, large. Okay. So, anyone on very fast?
Yes.
Okay.
My power.
Okay.
I
Dimension
blew
blade?
out my sword
Okay.
and I dimension braid with 2 dice because I'm at disadvantage. Or am I still, or because I'm out of the
Well,
Barovia
unfortunately, you're in a whole nother
shenanigans?
kingdom, so...
Do I still roll disadvantage? Okay. Nope.
Just a regular fail?
Yep.
Okay. Then we go to fast. Garrett.
Nat 20.
Roll it again.
4.
What does 4 hit?
Armor class of -2.
Alright, roll damage and add 1.
12 points of damage.
Remember, this is large.
So
Okay.
go to D10.
12?
Yep.
Alright,
Does my spear ask me anything?
you stab into the creature. It does.
Oh yeah.
Alright, well let me make sure. Let me make sure. Yes, okay. So would you like this creature to die?
Yes. 5 points additional.
We hear, what the fuck? Okay. Volmir will attack twice because she's right there. And that's a natural 20. And she will do 11 points of damage total. Okay. Kelf and Waldor, you are awakened. Strahd is shaking the both of you. I need both of you to wake up. And Strahd says, your friends are in danger. Go forward.
Okay.
I guess I stumble out of the carriage, trying to get my bearings.
Okay. So,
Are we rolling anything thing to see if we awaken immediately or.
Well,
still drowsy.
he shook you and you are awakened immediately when you're
Okay,
shaken.
so-
At least that's the way I remember writing that rule, but let me double check. Let me double check it here. Okay. Shaking the sleeping character will allow a D10 roll, and anything but a 1 wakes the character. So, I need Kelth and Waldor to both roll a D10.
9.
Okay, so you awake. You are awakened.
2.
You awake. Okay, and a character who is not surprised wakes and declare an action. However, any action performed on the first round out of sleep is done at -4. So unless one of you has the light sleeper non-weapon proficiency, which could change that, a sleeping character will automatically fail to hear. Okay, so
I said I stumble out of the carriage.
My only action is to get up and exit the carriage.
and that happens because you weren't able to declare before. Your action happens at the end of the round.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, so Garrett, you got a second attack.
On a class of -14.
That's a hit. Roll Dankus.
Barely.
13 points of damage.
And this time in your brain you hear, would you like this creature to die?
Yes.
Okay.
5. 9 more points of damage.
Okay. The spear utters this phrase. What the fuck? Alright. Volmir gets a second attack. That is a hit. She does 7 points. And then you get another attack? Or no, you get 2 and then 3?
Correct.
Okay. I could have sworn you got 3 every round, but
Nope,
I
it's,
think technically you're supposed to if you have all of your mastery stuff.
so you get 5 every 2.
Well,
And you told me the last time, no, the one time, 2 the first round and 3
yeah.
second.
Well, that's what
you're-
5-2 is. Okay.
Unless you're using that high mastery rule, in which case, yes, he does get 3-1. If you're using that high mastery rule for.
Well, as far as I know, we are.
If you're using the high mastery rule that you have,
Yeah.
the highest level mastery with weapon, if you have it, you get bumped up 1 extra category, and it becomes a 3-1.
Okay.
I haven't read for anything. Not that I would know. That's the highest level though. Only. There's a lot of bonuses on that highest level.
A 12th level melee weapon Grandmaster would attack 3 times per round. Yeah, that's what I thought. So
It needs to be updated on your. It's not. The system didn't fully recognize it on your sheet then.
all right.
So then I get another one?
Next phase.
Okay.
All right. All right. So at that point, roll another d10, Garrett.
3.
3. All right. Fair enough. This little thing with balls of light kind of comes from the swamp and comes over, and it looks like it's heading towards you, but then lightning shoots out of it and it strikes this creature. And just for a second, you see the creature kind of like the lightning kind of goes into it and circles around it or whatever. And then you swear that it grows. And it's bigger now. And you hear Skin Piercer go, what the fuck? Alright. So that was the first round. Oh, and then at the end of the round, they exit the carriage.
I wonder if that book is also a Cody Dex.
Okay. Any maintenance?
I would if I could.
Oh, that's right. It didn't work. Okay, round 2. All right. We have actions. Garrett.
What attack?
Volmir will attack. Ein.
Power.
Kelf.
Casting.
And Dan is not here.
He says spell.
Okay. All right. So Kelf, you get to roll initiative this time. Need another 10. Jesus.
7.
Hey!
All right. Very fast. Anybody?
Yep. I roll double 14s, and that should be good enough because it's at a con. It's at con -1, I want to say. Yep. Success!
All right. So your Dimension Blade is up and going. When did your spell go off?
Oh, you know what? I forgot the advantage thing. Oh well.
What's the speed on your spell, Kelf?
6. I go on average.
Okay. Then we go to on fast, the little ball. It moves over here
And I'm keeping my distance.
and strikes the creature again. And you see it grow. And it looks like it's any damage that you did to it, the vines have regrown and the green stuff has taken its place. And it now just looks like a taller, more powerful version of itself. As if you had done no damage to it at all. Now we go to the loser side of fast, which would be... Oh wait, I'm sorry, that was the loser side of very fast. Now we're at fast, which is Volmir and you. So, you want to go?
Oh yeah.
Okay, what are you attacking? The heaping pile or the glowing electrical ball?
Can you explain glowing electrical ball?
Well, from where you are, I need you to make a perception check for me. And remember that your
First round is gone though.
Of course, I know, but that is a 21.
Okay.
Yeah, 21 with my perception.
Let me see here if there's a better, more accurate, or more detailed, I should say, okay. What you see is it looks like there's a bright lantern that somebody is carrying that's behind the creature.
Okay.
So when I just want to verify, when I got out of the cart and looked around, I seen that last round, the end of last round.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. When's your spell go off?
6.
All right. So you're up there, Garrett.
Is there any way to reach the glowing ball?
If you were to throw your spear at it. Or you could move past the creature and it would get an attack of opportunity on you.
Yeah,
but
I'm not going there. I will attack the creature.
so to answer your question, yes, there is. But
There's options.
yeah.
I don't like either. I will attack the creature.
Okay.
How much is your
Armor class of -15.
That's a hit.
What's your
10 points of damage.
You're fine.
Would you like this creature to die?
Yes.
You're fine.
2.
Okay. So, that time, Skin Piercer in your mind says, "That is not possible."
But I'll think back what's not possible.
I got nothing from it that time. All right. Who else on fast? Volmir. That's a hit. Ooh, 9 points. Second offhand. That's a hit. 9 points again. All right, she's up there making fucking tossed salad. She's got both her swords, and there's shit flying off like somebody's got a hedge trimmer.
So Edward Scissorhands is jealous?
All right. What did you find out on 14? Did it work? Or we already established it?
Yeah, we already established
Is
that.
that your power score? Okay.
What I was saying was I forgot that I had the advantage.
Oh,
because of
okay.
the role play.
Okay. So then we go to
There's
the
this-
loser's side of fast, which is no one.
I could bring it up.
And then we go to average with your second attack and Volmir's second attack. And she hits.
And he's like,
And she does 5 points.
And he's just like, captures
-5.
my life sometimes.
That's a hit. Rodinkus.
I'm just like, wow,
14
that makes
points.
so much sense.
I've seen the picture.
Try me again.
I didn't see it on the toilet.
Jesus. Roll 2d6, 2 again.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Randy, high roll, please.
You, that time, you hear, Gay!
From what?
The spear.
That's not a good sound.
And I need you to make me a perception check. And I need Ein and Volmir to make me a perception check.
I roll for...
31.
Volmir failed.
27.
Okay.
31.
31? Okay.
Roll to 17.
You notice that the spear looked like do you remember when you were in the Eternal Viewing Place and somebody was touching like the corpses of the White Witches and there was like a weird darkness or whatever that came out and zapped whoever touched and they were like, ah! You notice the same thing here coming from the spear, like a part of the creature has like
Zapped
a weird black tendril or limb or vine or whatever kind of reached out and touched the spear and like pulled a piece back and the spear, in your mind you heard, "Gah!" But you saw that. And I need you to put a mark down on your sheet. Okay. And then she's already, that was your second attack, right?
Correct.
And she went already, I think. And then,
So that was fast, right?
no, that would be average.
Average. Okay.
So you're up.
What? Hey,
Kelp, you want to go?
what's your casting
6.
time? 6.
6.
Which one of you would like to go first, or?
Go ahead, Waldorf.
All right. So I take out I have my holy symbol out, and I go, I call upon thy darkest powers of this place to come forth and wilt thy plant life And if it is dead, then kill it and turn it to dust. And I cast Druid's Decay.
Okay, and what does that do?
So, I'm just assuming a few things. Hopefully this is all in place of death and good plan. So upon casting a spell, the caster can cause a single dead creature to decompose into dust. Alternatively, the spell can decompose 10 cubic feet or less of dead plant material, including objects made of wood. Items or constructions made entirely or partially out of plant material, such as wood, must make a successful item saving throw versus lightning or be destroyed. An item worn and held by a creature is unharmed unless the owner fails a saving throw versus spell. Upon failure, the item must save versus lightning or be destroyed. This spell doesn't affect living matter. A single corporeal undead creature of up to 10 hit dice can be destroyed if it fails a saving throw versus death magic. The spell cannot affect non-corporeal undead, ghosts, shadows, races, etc., or undead with more than 10 hit dice.
Okay, so I need you to roll your spellcraft.
$22.
Okay, that is successful. So, you cast the spell. The spell moves into the darkness past the light of the lamps, past your friends, striking the creature. The heaping pile of vegetation shudders briefly, but then continues to attack your friends in the front. And with your successful spellcraft roll, you surmise that something about this creature and what you just read does not meet the spell conditions, and you can assume that this creature is somehow alive.
Okay.
That explains the question I was going to have.
Okay, so that was average. Now it's Kelp's turn.
Okay. Powerful Cthulhu, benevolent and fierce, harness the powers of nature and form the bird of prey that will protect us from our enemies. And I cast Bird of Prey, which is the same spell I use on a giant. It creates a field of energy.
And I'm guessing you're going to use it to attack the heaping pile, or are you going to try to
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I bought a figure, and I just had it in my hand, and it was right here. And there it is. So there you go, a little fucking...
Okay, so starting next turn, it will begin to attack every other round.
Okay, very good. Okay, and that was average. Now we go to slow, and you guys won initiative, so you attack again.
Changing, I'm going to throw Skin Piercer at the blob of light behind it.
Okay, so it'll have cover, but you might still hit it.
That's like missile attack though. Armor class is 0.
Okay, so here's what happens. You throw it, and as you're throwing it, the creature like turns and moves its arm, not necessarily because it knows what you're doing, it's just in the part of the fight, and the spear kind of like comes out the other side here, and it does not strike, and it's so now it's like whoop, and it stops there, and it is now threatening the ball of light thing. I need Waldor to roll a necrology check, or whatever it's called.
No, that's necrology. Oh damn, I'm pretty sure I made it. I rolled a 19, so that's
Okay.
19 and 13 and
32.
You are pretty sure that glowing ball thing there is something you've heard about, and I will text you the name of this thing, and you may or may not know. What was your total?
32.
And you may know something about it that can
Who's that?
help your friends should you be able to communicate. It's called, well, I'll just text you the name of it.
Dan. Get all the informational stuff. Heraldry, religion, necrology, you know, anything that gives information, and then you're basically just a walking Pokédex. I'm like, who's that Poké? What's?
Find out the language of origin.
Right. The joke is Pokédex is the Pokemon thing where you scan the Pokemon, it tells you everything about it.
Okay.
So if you have all the information.
We
stuff,
now
you can
go
like,
to
I
very
wanna see what
slow.
happens.
Have you attacked 3 times? Fast, average, slow. Okay, Volmir's gone. Okay, so on very slow, the creature gets to go. And let's see. It's not that smart. So how about Garrett's up there and Volmir, and Ein hasn't done crap. So it will turn its attacks to you guys, and we'll have the first attack on Garrett. Oh, that's terrible. It only hits an armor class of -5. 2.
That would be a miss.
Alright. And then on Volmir, that's a 19. That's a hit. She will take damage. 9 points of damage on Volmir.
So, is that all I know that it is?
Well, that's the name of it. That's what
Right.
you've read.
Right. I didn't know if I knew anything else about it.
And nope, no chance of knockdown. All right. So you know that this creature likes to live in swamps. It likes to lure unsuspecting people to their death in the swamp. You know that it can blink out and move and blink back in. It'll shoot like a charge at you for damage. And you realize that it seems to be working either with, on purpose or on accident, that heaping pile, because the heaping pile seems to gain strength from it.
Do I know if that prior spell would work on her own?
It might. It would make sense that it would.
Okay.
And you also know that the ball is it's like a ghostly ball, like the balls that were in the Eternal Viewing Place.
Yeah.
So it would be unlikely that it could be hit. You think maybe it could, but
I was just curious if it fell under the dice or higher.
and then you also know with that roll that magical attacks against it almost never work. There's only certain spells which you've ever heard of that work. Protection from evil, magic missile, and maze. That's it. Alright. So, that thing just went. It will continue to attack you all. And that is it. Any movement by anyone?
Drawing my sword.
Is that within 30 feet of me? The lightning thing or the ball?
Where is my ruler?
I'm sorry, 30 yards. I'm sorry, 30 yards.
Oh, yeah, it's totally within 30 yards.
Yeah.
It is 12 squares, so 60 feet, so 20 yards. All right, end of the round. Any maintenance?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And we will move to round 3. And I need actions now from Ein,
Attack.
Skin Piercer,
Attack.
Volmir, attack, Garrett,
Attack.
Bird Sloogie,
Attack.
Waldor.
So is that considered incorporeal then?
Well, probably not, considering.
Alright, I just wanted to make sure before I try casting the same spell again. So.
Well, you know what I just told you.
Right.
So if I didn't say that,
So, alright, so I'm gonna try that on
and Kelp. You have
I'm gonna, yes, if there was any movement, am I able to move at the end of the round after
a
casting?
half move, yeah.
I will move toward the group.
What's your movement rate?
15.
Okay, so you can move 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You want to be behind Garrett, in between?
Yes, right up behind Garrett.
Okay. All right, that's where you're stop. All right, and action.
Casting.
All right, roll initiative. Who hasn't rolled initiative this time? Kelp, I think. Go
I
ahead.
rolled last time, but
Oh, Garrett, roll initiative. Be a 6.
An upside down 6.
9. All right. On very fast. The ball of light says, "Durr." You see this creature get wrapped in a quick electrical burst. It seems to grow another part. It is almost huge. Probably if it gets zapped again, it will be into another category. And it
Yeah,
appears as though the damage done the previous round, a lot of it has regrown like the swamp thing. So this heaping pile of vegetation. Would anyone care to guess for the actual name of this creature? No.
Shambling mound.
It's a shambling mound. Yay! It's not a heaping pile. Okay. Okay. So, we go very fast. Anyone? No? Fast.
Can I say something at very fast?
You can say whatever.
Okay. Volomir, throw one of those bad knives into the mound.
Bad knives. Okay.
Yeah, I gave her a couple bad knives a long time back. She didn't have any weapons.
So
Oh,
fast. We got.
Everyone.
Yeah, pretty much a lot of people. When's your spell go off? Kelf?
5, it's average.
Okay.
6.
And yours is average too? Okay. So we'll just do Volmir first. That's a hit. And that is a miss.
Go ahead, Garrett.
7 points. What'd you get?
I was waiting and I dropped.
Who is this? Is this the spear attacking
No,
or
this is
you? Garrett, okay.
With the sword.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Natural 20, roll again.
No. On a class of,
Not the spear.
yeah, arm class of 4.
Alright. Roll Dinkus, regular hit, regular damage.
4 points of damage. Another fucking one.
Alright.
Hey, large.
Oh
Sword.
shit, I'm sorry.
D8.
That would have been 10 points of damage.
All right. I'm
Using my Dimension Braid. Armor class -4.
that is a hit. Roll dinkus.
9 points of damage.
All right, you stab it with your dimension blade, and the Ginsu knife action slices through the lettuce clean, and a bunch of foliage hits the ground, and it keeps on swinging at you. All right, so that was fast. We now go to the spear attacking that thing there.
Armor class of -8.
-8. That is a hit. Roll dinkus.
That's small, right?
Oh yeah.
Kill it?
7 points. I don't get the
I
strength
know.
on
You
these.
do not.
No. But I'm hoping it's just super weak.
All right, that is a hit. You see the spear strike into the ball, and the ball reacts violently and moves away from it. And Skin Piercer's like, ha ha! Okay. So now we go to average. So we got all kinds of things going. Who wants to go first? How about you go with your second attack?
Armor class of -8.
No, that's a hit.
Sword, D8. 4 points of damage.
All right. And Volmir will take her second.
Remember,
Natural 20.
sword, you're at back down to, I think you're actually at 2
Yes.
with the sword.
Only 4 points.
Just
Okay.
trying to.
And okay, now we got the spellcasters. Kelp, you're up.
As I'm squatting or crouching a little bit behind Garrett there, I'm pulling a mesh cloth out of my bag and poking my fingers through it. As I begin to wiggle it, I pray, Kagul, give me the strength to develop a link with this creature and control its actions. And I'm casting mental domination.
Well, all right. And what does the creature have to do? Does it have to save versus spells?
I'm saving throw will negate. Yeah, save versus spells, I think it is.
Does it have to have a brain?
It does not say a brain. It says it is similar to the wizard spell Domination in that it establishes a telepathic link between the priest and the subject through which the priest can control the subject's bodily movements. Priest and subject need not share a common language. The priest can force the subject into combat, but the subject attacks rolls suffer a -2 penalty. Priest
Okay.
cannot force the subject to cast spells or use innate magical or spell-like abilities.
So it has to save versus spells, right?
Yes.
Alrighty. Let's see if that has a thing. No? Okay. So, let's roll. Well, look at that. Alright. You send your mind out, and it's seeking to dominate this monster. As you hold your hand out, you start to mentally feel around for something that your monk can grab onto with your mind. And it slowly feels down until it reaches right into the center of the creature, and then it grasps and you have control.
I make him stop attacking is my first thing. And turn toward whatever that light is.
Can you read that spell description for me again?
Yes, I can. The spell is similar to the wizard spell Domination in that it establishes a telepathic link between the priest and the subject through which the priest can control the subject's bodily movement. There are some significant differences between the spells, however. Elves and half-elves have no innate resistance to this spell. Priest and subject need not share a common language. The priest can force the subject into combat, but the subject's attack roll will suffer a -2 penalty. The priest cannot force the subject to cast spells or use any innate, magical, or spell-like abilities. The priest can force the subject to speak, although the priest cannot inject a full range of emotions into the subject's voice. This spell gives the priest no access to the subject's thought, memory, or sensory apparatus. Thus, the priest cannot see through the subject's eyes.
Here you go,
To
Kyle.
control the subject, the priest must be within range and be able to see the subject. Breaking either of these conditions will cause it to fail or terminate immediately. The spell requires a moderate level of concentration. While
Okay.
maintaining the spell, the priest can move
I got it.
or enter combat, but cannot cast another spell.
Okay, so you cast the spell, and it is, you are dominating it. Okay, so
I'm controlling its bodily movement.
yes, you're controlling
That's
its
all.
bodily movement. So, and what is it you want it to do?
First thing is stop being aggressive toward my friends and turn to face the glowing light that we see behind it.
So I mean, this is going to get nitpicky, and I don't mean to, but you can't control its emotions, so saying don't be
Right.
aggressive doesn't apply. You control.
Okay,
it's
I'm
like
sorry.
You're puppeting.
Bad wording.
You're puppeting it. Okay. So what do
Yeah.
you wish your puppet to do?
Spin around in the opposite direction.
Okay. So
Face the opposite direction.
when its turn comes up, it will do what you puppet it to do.
Okay.
All right. So who is next? You? Okay.
So, I call forth thy powers of freaking darkness to snuff that ball light out from its undead and turn it to dust.
And what spell are you casting?
That, Druid's Decay again. You just want to look at it here.
No. I'm going to... Okay. The only spells which have any effect are protection from evil, magic, missile, and maze. Persons making use of magical attacks, however, will find their powers almost ineffective against them. As a rule, the only spells which have any effect. So you cast the spell and nothing happens.
Alright.
Did I not make that clear?
Well, you
You
said,
said almost useless.
and then you also said that it may have effect on it.
You said,
You
that
said it may have an effect on it.
So, I thought you were hinting at only like direct attack spells against it, like lightning wouldn't hit it. You know, that
Alright.
that's what I thought you were.
Well, I'm feeling
suggesting.
generous, so
I thought he was gonna make you roll like a d20. And
I'm gonna give it a saving throw, but it has to roll extremely terrible for this to work.
on one.
So
Come on.
Is that a D20 or
No,
D12?
That's a D12.
Wrong,
That was like
wrong dice.
Wait a minute, when did it come up?
5.
Oh, God.
3.
A 3?
Yeah, 3.
All right, beat a 3 on a D20.
18.
All right. Well, what happens?
All right, so
And I was gonna say that it does damage. I think that's
well, no, it says
No, I know. No, I see. No, I know what it says.
it says a single corporal undead creature above the 10 hit dice can be destroyed if it fails a saving throw versus death magic. So, I mean that.
I'm gonna
So
say
that's what I was thought the way he worded what he
Saying- no, I
said
get
that had a chance
That's all right.
of
It's not-
affecting because of that.
your spell destroys the ball of glowing light.
Now time. To
The
So you hear
skin,
this?
skin piercer
Black
says,
dot goes wham, hits it and turns to dust.
skin piercer's like, all right. Who's next? That was
Vertebrae.
all right. Roll to hit. It's right there above it.
15, and let's see, it gets a THAC0, my THAC0 with a +2 bonus. So 15 would hit a -7, -8.
That's a hit. Roll damage.
Okay. 2d4 +2. And a big 4 points.
All righty. All right. Now we're on to the loser side of average. The shambling mound. And
It turns around to nothingness now.
right. Garrett, it's gonna direct both attacks against you.
What about the puppet master?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I don't
right.
think it is.
I forgot all about it. Okay, so it does whatever you puppet it to do. So it turns and where does it go?
Walk it off. You said the glowing light has disappeared now.
Yes.
Is there any other creature or something behind it that's controlling this thing?
Make me a perception check.
Woo! That is a big 19.
Okay, there does not appear to be anything behind it.
I'm going to have him begin walking off of the trail, out of the way, and into the woods, into the jungle.
Alright, well that's what it does. And it walks this way. If anyone wishes to attack it, they may.
Nope.
Anybody?
No.
Skin piercer? Damn.
Yeah.
Alright, it walks off and if I read the
I
spell
think-
right, you can...
I say to Garrett, stay with me, because I have to keep it in sight to continue doing this as I'm kind of walking, and so that I can make sure I'm seeing it through the woods and
Hey,
making it
wait,
go as
hold-
far away as
hold
I
on.
can.
This thing might come back.
It
How-
could, if I lose
wait.
control, it could come back, or it might.
Wait, how long? How
At the furthest I can see it, I'll make it
yeah,
fall
but
to the
how
ground.
long do you have control of this thing?
Oh, for metagaming, sorry, 13 rounds. I don't know how else to say that.
You just say a little while.
No, I'm sorry. 3 times 13.
So hang on. Before you let it run off, let me see if I can't do something to kill it permanently. I
Well,
just didn't
please
want to
do.
get. I just didn't want to
Hold
get
on,
close to
hold
it.
on.
Who's got?
I mean, I already said what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's already done that.
Okay. Well, that's
If
what I'm
you're
saying. I
saying
see
that
him
now I
walking
stop,
off.
I don't make him walk any further.
No, I mean, it's okay for him to have him walk off. I'm just saying, I'm trying to get him to stop.
Do you keep yelling from the back here, or do you move up?
I move up.
Okay.
Because I have to touch it anyway, so.
So at that point, once it's moved off and away, and he says this, I will have him stop walking
All right.
Okay.
and kneel down.
All right. He does it.
All right, so I go up to it, and all right, so just vision and somatic. So I call on thy darkest darkness in this place with thy most powerful ichor of poison to slay this being, and I touch it. And I cast poison.
Okay. So it'll take you a round to get up to it.
Oh, okay.
So he runs after it into the swamp.
Can I also say that the bird is dive bombing it still? Unless you can dispel it, Kelf. Your bird.
It follows him.
Yeah, that's what I say. That is still attacking it, unless you can command it not to by dispelling it or whatever.
On the next round, it has 2 rounds before it attacks.
Right. But that would be something that's still continuously attacking.
Okay. So Waldor, you're in the swamp
So
now.
I have to make a touch attack.
All right. So you realize you're being slowed down by the difficult
Right.
terrain, and you need to make me a dexterity check.
Well, that's a 19 total.
Okay. While running through the swamp, you slip and fall. Now make me another dexterity check.
That is 30, 15 and 18 is 33.
All right. You just happen to land in a soft, mossy bed of wet plant, but you're prone on the ground.
So I get up.
Be careful, Waldor.
Okay. And then you keep moving?
Yes.
Okay. So, Kelp didn't say how far the creature got into the swamp, but I'm going to say 20 feet.
Okay. So I keep moving to it.
You're there.
Alright, so
When does the bird attack?
Every other round.
On the next round, it'll be...
Okay, well, it's the next round right now because he slipped and
No,
didn't
it's
make
every
it.
other round, and it just attacked, so now it won't this round, and
But-
it will next round.
We've already had like a couple things go by because we're outside of combat. Things move
Well,
faster.
Hold on. The thing attacked it, and you dominated it, and it started to move. And then Waldor came up, and that's where that round ended. And then Waldor took off into the swamp and fell down, could not complete his move.
Okay.
That's
you're calling
another
after-
round. And
so
now
you're calling
it's the
after
round.
that.
Now it's the third round since the bird's been out. Does the bird go to attack the creature this round?
It will attack on the next round, every other round.
This is every other round right now. Actions.
My action is to continue to dominate.
Right?
right. But the bird
What about the
attacked.
bird? What's the bird action?
The bird only attacks every other round.
Right, but this is round 3.
Does it attack regardless of if you tell it to or not?
Yes, it pursues its target. Once the target is
Okay.
cast, it stays on it and keeps attacking until the target is dead or the
And
duration is over.
do you dispel your own spell or do you allow it to continue?
I allow it to continue.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. So, roll initiative. Your side. Waldor, you can roll initiative. Any actions from Garrett or Ein?
Nope.
No?
Watching
Okay.
the wizards watching the priests do their thing.
Okay. So, on
What did you get?
very fast. On very fast, you are able to move up. And that's
Okay.
it. You are now within melee range.
Alright, so I have to roll a guess it's a touch attack. So I just have to hit an AC of 10 then, right?
Well, you don't know what
Oh.
other protections it might have.
Alright, so I can hit an AC of 2.
AC of 2, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Come on, clobber this thing. Leave it to the priest to come out and save the warriors.
Oh, a dis. A do.
He's talking to you.
I guess
two,
if we're not
almost.
safe yet, I better shut up.
Okay. Oh. Well, that's great. Okay. You touch it.
Okay. So I actually make contact with it then?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so then, you know, it has to make a saving throw versus poison.
Versus poison. Okay. Rolls a 17. That is a success.
Okay.
It looks... It... Okay. Okay. All right. So that was very fast. Anyone on fast? The bird.
You want him to attack? I'm trying to tell you, it's every other, but okay.
Well, hold on. I'll explain it again. There's no. You attacked it on the same round that you dominated it, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
that was 2 rounds ago. This is the second round.
Okay. And then on round 3, Waldor tried to get there
Round 2.
and couldn't get there. He failed his dex check. That's a
Okay,
round.
so this is round 4.
Yes.
Okay, my bad. I lost track.
That's all right. That's why I knew you'd get it. I just wasn't explaining it well. So, Waldor.
I missed calling for actions and everything. That round when Waldor ran, I wasn't thinking of it.
It's because we
That's
were in
okay.
a soft combat, not
That's
a hard
okay.
combat.
So
Here we go.
the bird attacked.
18. That's gonna hit.
That's a hit.
AC, negative.
Roll damage.
2d4 plus 2. And this time it is 7 points.
All right. You see the talons fly down, rake at the canopy. Things flutter off in the air. It kind of moves for a second. You feel your hold on its intelligence waver, and then it slips through your fingers, and you realize that the creature has, with the attacks, resisted your domination. It is now its turn. It turns and looks at Waldor, or whatever it uses to sense its surroundings.
It's loose.
It swings twice at Waldor.
And down goes Waldor.
Its first attack hits an armor class of, hold on, 2.
Dude, yeah, that definitely hits.
All right.
Can I ask again why did I lose control of it? Because it got attacked? This is not like a charm spell.
No. The spell description, from what I read, said that the creature is attempting to resist. when you look at the wizard spell Dominate that it's based on. Unless there's something
Okay.
in your description which says that it doesn't work that way. Subjects resist this control, and those forced to take actions against their natures receive a new saving throw with bonuses of +1 to +4 depending on the type of action required. So what I think is if it's resisting the whole time, and you make it walk away from what it wants to eat, I'm like, okay, I'll let that slide. But then to just remain still while something attacks it, to me, is against its nature.
Okay.
And it got a new
It
saving
does-
throw.
It's different from that spell, but there's no mention of that in the mental domination spell, but okay.
That's
I
because
get
we
it.
get by with it by saying it's like.
Okay. So it was successful on its roll that it did just a second ago. So it attacked. So you got hit one time, Waldor. The second attack, before I roll damage, this time hits an armor class of 0. Okay. So, what time is it?
Exactly 9.
Okay. Well, this might be a good time to stop Waldor. Okay, Waldor, on the first clubbing attack, you take, holy shit, 15 points of damage.
Down goes Waldorf.
On the
Do I go flying through the air with the first attack?
Not yet. The second attack, you take 10 more points of damage, but this is when the special Sloogie comes in from the Shambling Mound.
Because he's almost.
And I didn't think that this would come this far, but you guys somehow managed to do it. Okay. A victim hit by both arms in the same round is entangled in the creature's slimy vines and rotting vegetable manner. It basically grabs you, pulls you, and stuffs you in its what looks like its mouth, and you are now on the inside of it. And
You Guardians of the Galaxy.
you can't
You can
breathe
get out of this.
because as you try to breathe, there's slime and it gets in your mouth and you're like, and
Can I borrow your pencil?
the only
Holy
thing,
shit!
the only thing you can do is either die in a certain amount of rounds, or you can try something else, which involves a successful Ben Bar's Lift Gates roll, or if everyone else can kill it before you suffocate. And we will stop there. So, well,
Guy,
somehow you guys managed to do everything right and get to the special ability, and I did not think that would happen. So,
man, I didn't even get to use my advantage.
wonderful. Okay, so that's it. Do you have your current hit point total, by the way, there, Waldorf?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Sorry, Waldor.
But you'll have that. Okay, so,
Should have just had to stand aside while we moved on.
I don't have any questions this week because I didn't have a chance to make up a new list. But my question will be, how did you think you would die? Garrett!
Violently.
We did that one.
Violent by like a thief because you were because you were in the militia, or by
No.
a goblin, or...
I know my death will be by the dragon.
No, I mean when you were just starting out.
growing up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you think you would die of old age and like your grandpappy, or do you
No, I
think you'd
was-
get
I
gored
was-
by a bull?
Because of my grandfather and what he was doing, I knew I would die a violent death and by a weapon of my choice.
Okay, how about you, Kelp? Do you have any way of, when you were younger, how you thought you might pass on?
I always assumed it would be in battle in defense of the monastery.
Sounds reasonable. How about you, Waldor?
By eaten by a giant mouse.
But just not this one. He was talking about the ones that came up from the lake.
Eating
Lo and behold.
having a salad eat me.
That's the worst way to die. Death by salad.
What about you, Wayne?
You know, when I was young and foolish, yeah, I thought I'd just kind of live out a semi-normal life of doing bizarre things with my mind and die eventually of probably just old age, truth be told. You know, until I got on this adventure, now that's completely changed.
Probably.
Now I don't think I will die. I'll become a vampire and
You'll live forever.
live
Did
forever.
you think your brother would
No,
keep
you'll
you
be
alive a
undead
long
forever.
time?
I don't know the extent of, well, I do know the extent of his powers because I share some of them now. am working on getting the other.
All right. So, and any last words for any of the players about the
Cell
session?
adjustment and regen.
I had fun.
That's all that matters. We're playing to have fun, and that's it. So, right on. So, unless something changes, we'll see y'all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thank you, Facebook. Appreciate you coming on and commenting. Always great. We'll see you next week.
Bye, Cal.
Bye. Take it easy, fellas.